Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are back with the Stars of Destiny podcast. I apologize once again. Recording between episodes have been a little bit of delayed. So let me preface like what's been going on with me recently. Again, I'm your host Marco Flores. I have Luca Blight on the other end. But yeah, what's been going on is in real life. In February, I lost basically the love of my life, my Tenkai star, my wife, in February due to like a brain aneurysm, and yeah, I've been going through that process, taking care of everything on that end, everything like yeah you can think of life insurance and all that stuff, and also taking care of our 5 month old son. So yeah, so kind of going through my process of grief. Luca has been so kind to just check up on me every so often and making sure I'm doing okay. And I'm telling him, yeah, like I'm okay, I'm as okay as I can be for me. But yeah, she loved and supported like that I'm doing this, content creation and all that stuff. And it was tough at times to try to balance that out. Trying to spend time with her and little little our little baby, and yeah, so I was trying to keep that balance, and yeah, unfortunately, yeah, she passed in February. So yeah, again, going through that process. Some days are easier than others not so much. But I'm taking it one step, one day at a time. So is my son. So yeah, I just want to let you know that's what's going on. Yeah, so I apologize on my end, for no new episodes, but like yeah, that's what's been going on recently. So I'm dedicating this episode to her. She's my Tenkai star, and I love her, and I'm gonna miss her very very much. But with that being said, we are doing a brand new episode. Hopefully we're gonna put this out right away as soon as we're finished with the recording. Gonna do the editing and all that stuff. It's all this doing this stuff is also kind of like as a way of distraction for me. But Luca, how are you doing, man? How's everything going?
I'm doing well. I would like to say just may she rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all here for you.
Thank you. Yeah, really
And
appreciate that.
yeah, I'm doing well, and I hope things are going better for you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be a part of this show with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So as of right now, you're having car issues. Is that any of that resolved, or are you still like is that ongoing? Because that was the last thing you were telling me about like what was going on.
Yeah. So I got that. I fixed that.
Okay,
So
cool. Okay.
there was a lot of issues uh, that I was dancing around,
Mm,
mostly suspension wise, right? I replaced sway bar links and struts and
yeah.
shocks and wheel bearings. And
Yeah.
so people, be kind to your car.
Yeah.
Do
Don't.
not drive it like I do. Curbs are not a suggestion. Don't
Oh.
hit them.
Yeah. Right.
Potholes, they're mean.
Yeah.
Drive around them.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Okay, just be kind to your
Be
car,
kind.
because I was not kind to my car, and it cost me a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can understand that, and yeah, you got to be kind to that Luca Blight horse.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unfortunate, and hopefully the cost wasn't too severe, but yeah.
Well,
Um,
doing it yourself
yeah.
and having a father who is very good with vehicles
Oh, good. Good.
very much helped me out
That's
in
cool.
reducing some of the cost.
That's cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Awesome. So, yeah, you're not able to see this right now, but I'm wearing a shirt on my Nerd in the Bay shirt store. It's Suikoden related. It's the one called Buddy Attack. So I made a shirt with Ryo and Joey with their Unite Attack. And so like the front it says Buddy Attack. They activate right there in the front, and in the back it's like a comic panel of them doing the actual like Unite Attack and finishing off the whole animation. So yeah, I'm wearing
That's
wearing
cool.
was wearing something Suikoden related as I should have done from the very beginning, but yeah, didn't get a chance to buy the shirt, my own shirt. But yeah, if you guys want to get that shirt, it is on my merch store, and yeah, any support there is much appreciated. It goes back into creating content and to the show. So yeah, be much appreciated if you guys purchase a shirt or two. So yeah, just want
we need to get some Luca Blight ones going.
We do. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so today we are talking. We had this idea from the previous episode. I was like, oh man. So I was looking at the Suikoden wiki like one day, and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of. They got all the stars of Destiny here. And I was like, And we always talk about this, this concept of a Suikoden 6, and I know I'm pretty sure Luca has seen this topic be brought up on like the Facebook groups and whatever Discords of Suikoden. Like what would the scenario of a Suikoden 6 would look like, and I believe we mentioned on previous episodes that the quote unquote 6 game should be about Harmonia. Whether it's going to be in one game or like a game arc. Like three games, all focusing on like taking down Harmonia. So we thought of the idea that since we have all these stars from previous games 1 through 5, we're not counting the PSP one and the DS games. We're not counting them unless they actually get integrated into like the actual main canon of Suikoden. But we were going to talk about like who would be the best representative of these stars, right? So there's like all these stars here listed, and we're going to go through basically one by one and see who would be the best representative. And usually with like Suikoden games, if it's not a returning star, it's a new star that comes into the game and fills that star role. But for this topic, we're going to just talk about the existing characters that fills those stars. So yeah, it's going to be maybe it could be a long discussion, maybe not, just depending how we go through all these stars. But we're going to start initially with the Tenkai star. We're going to talk about like say like each of these characters, like and what the role was as a Tenkai star. And then in the very end of the episode, then we'll kind of like decide who would be the best representative of the Tenkai star. But we'll start that off first. We'll start this discussion off first. So for me, I'll start it off. I was looking at this. I was like, Tenkai star. I was like, when it comes to these characters and like Harmonia and that relation, there's no direct relation to. I feel like there's no direct relation to it because each of the characters that represented the Tenkai star was just dealing with the situation that they were dealing with in their game. Maybe a little bit of Harmonia intertwined with it, but it was not like it was the main focus of their storyline.
Except Thomas a little bit.
Like as I look at them, like Thomas has been like maybe the most out of everyone else, like Tyr and Ryo and Razzo and Prince there.
But technically, Thomas only fought one battle against Harmonia before Harmonia switched sides.
Right. So we can think about their motivations. We can think about like, because of this rune that they have, we can go all over the place. But like Luca, like out of all the characters that you see, like we're not saying like who's going to be representing Tenkai right now, but like out of everybody that you see, like who do you like have like an affinity of like who they can possibly be that representative star for you, like out of everybody that you see right now under the Tenkai role?
It really comes down to Tyr and I know there's different names for this guy, Laszlo or Razro.
Yeah.
I like Laszlo.
No.
I do like Laszlo a lot, to be honest. Based on like he had like the Ross deal with the rune that he had. Yeah. So I do like him as a character. But you know what, we probably gravitate to most Suikoden fans probably gravitate towards Tyr and maybe Ryo. So probably one of them.
Yeah.
Being that their leadership qualities are all quite similar. But what Tyr goes through is significantly more heartbreaking for us to watch than others.
Yeah.
So we kind of get an affinity with him.
I tend to agree with that. Tyr, like not even not even directly even being mentioned about like Harmonia, but just seeing his journey, like getting the rune and seeing his loved ones like being taken away from him, and he's just and his story from 1 to 2, where like he's just living, he's just fishing, and everybody's seeing like, oh, you haven't aged at all, like what's going on, because you have the true rune, right? And on the other side of that coin, you have Laszlo. Felt like he really got a bad, like you said, a bad short stick when he was going through his process of like getting the rune and like, am I gonna die, mm-hmm. and stuff like that. Finding out his story. With Rio, it seemed like his story was kind of self-contained.
He had a lot of hand. What his problem with him is there's a lot of hand holding going on with Rio.
Yeah.
So at the very start, Joey is kind of leading you around.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like you're just following Joey's lead.
Yeah.
And then you run into Flick and Victor, and you're just doing what Flick and Victor tell you to do.
Yeah.
And then you get to Muse, and you're just doing what Jess and Teresa are telling, or not Teresa, Annabelle are telling you what to do. Yeah. And then you get to South Window, and you're just doing what Grand Mayor is telling you to do.
Yeah.
And then finally you get your own castle. And it's mostly Shu making the decisions for you. He was there holding your hand the whole time.
Yeah.
So I feel like Rio, as much as he's a beloved character, had a lot of hand holding going on. So, but you know what? So did the Prince in Suikoden 5. So
I really agree with you there. And then Thomas like, oh, like I just happen to be like a castle owner, and just come on through to my place and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I can see like say like all these characters are in this like scenario of 6, like you just see them just being them, right? But like who would be the best representative is like the question that we're gonna ask and what we're gonna answer at the end of the episode. But I think I would have to agree with you. Like I feel, again, I think like everybody, I feel more of an affinity to Tyr, because he's just he's not even knowing like what everything has in store for him, but yet at the end of like 2, he's just doing what needs to be done, and Gremio is by his side as long as he can be, and if there happens to be a battle about the rune, he's going to be there to step up, and when it came to Tyr's story, he kind of like he didn't like went forward like, okay, I am the leader. He's like, Matthew was like, you are the leader, and we're gonna follow your lead. And Tyr's like, okay, I guess I'll be the leader, because my father was pretty much a badass with his armored cavalry, and kind of having to live up to that McDowell name. I feel like
well, you just outlined it right there. Yeah. He's the most qualified.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at you got to be crazy if you don't think that Tio wasn't training his son to become a leader and a general,
especially in the very beginning of the Suikoden game, where like Tio's like judging Craze, like, oh, Craze looks like a weakling, and he's telling that to his son. Whether you feel like you were saying like, oh yeah, Tyr is like as headstrong as his father, or maybe Tyr was like a little bit immature, depending on how you responded to Barbarossa. Like, you can kind of see that as you're kind of like formulating who Tyr is that like he's kind of headstrong himself, and if he was given responsibility, he would step up and do it.
That's right.
By choice, that would be like your decision, like what you think in your head. But I agree. I also have an affinity for Tyr, and then like Laszlo, maybe if there was like a callback of Harmonia in 4, but I really don't think there really was.
There was literally just one mention of them.
One mention? Okay.
Graham Cray mentioned that Kuluk planned on using the Rune of Punishment to exchange it with them in exchange for military backup against the Scarlet Moon Empire.
Gotcha.
And that's it. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's it for the Tenkai Star. We'll go back to this, and then like we'll make our final decisions on who the best representative of Tenkai would be. But the next star is the Tengo star. It says a star of configuration, conflagration, I think. So yeah, you see Lapont, Ridley, Sasurai, Lino, Raja, and that's it. And so here, and I'm looking at them, and then one of them at one point, one of them had the true Earth rune, in Sasurai.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, Lapont being more of like a state of body at the end of 2, or like during 2, being the president basically. Ridley being like a general, and then yeah, Lino. So we were looking at this. We were looking at this list before we started recording. It's like, you know, if we're going by like say human years, and you know when they were living, and you know they probably wouldn't be living by the time this quote unquote Suikoden 6 would come around. So we kind of disqualify them at that point, you know. So I mean, in terms of disqualification, maybe like Lino and Raja wouldn't probably not be there.
Raja might be there,
maybe,
because Suikoden 5 takes place. I believe it's 9 years or 7 years before Suikoden 1.
Okay, yeah, that's
so Raja has a possibility of being alive. I know she's older, but
yeah,
there's a possibility of her being alive. Lino, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Suikoden 4 takes place 150 years before Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
He is long dead.
Yeah.
He's actually long dead in 5. Like we go back to the island nations, and yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
So essentially, everyone from 4 is going to be disqualified unless they have a rune.
Yeah.
That would keep them alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we're basically looking at Lapont, Ridley, and Sasurai, and even with the rune taken out of true rune taken out of Sasurai, he's still living at the end of 3, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, he gets it back.
He does get it back. That is true. And he's very much directed, and his story is based on Harmonia. So for me, I think Sasurai would be like the best representative of the star of Tengo Star. Really, Ridley maybe second best choice, because Lapont, like, he's gonna just be the president, and maybe he'll just show up like, yeah, I'm gonna give you some soldiers and maybe like a special star character, and I feel like that's what Lapont would be at Suikoden 6. But would you agree, or would you choose Ridley over?
I got a spicy take.
Sure.
I got as usual. I got a spicy take.
Let's go.
So Lapont would be probably too old at this point to be an effective fighter.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be, just sitting as the leader.
Yeah.
So he's going to sit back. Lino's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Raja would likely be too old, but if not, I still wouldn't pick her.
Yeah.
So now you think, hey, maybe Ridley, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Ridley's already old by Suikoden 2.
Okay.
15 years passes to get to Suikoden 3. He's likely dead.
Mm.
And if he's not, he's a frail old man.
Yeah, going by dog years and stuff.
Right? Well, even if that's not the case, right? It's a long time, and he was already old by then.
Mm.
So then you think, oh, maybe Sasurai, right? Because he is the best representative in terms of, his ability, right? He's got even without the Earth Rune, that guy was just stacked.
Yeah.
Right? There's one problem. He is loyal to Harmonia to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
He is the clone of Hikusek.
Yeah.
I actually think that in one way or another, unless you were to betray Harmonia for some odd reason, it could happen. I kind of feel like you're going to be fighting him. But I think this actually comes on to spicy take. Click that B, Boris, the son of Ridley.
Yeah, I just clicked it.
I think that our Tango star is Boris.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I can
just
see
by
that.
Default here, but I would prefer Sasurai because I think he's a fantastic character and he's just an absolute tank. I love his magic ability. He is he's just like Luke, right?
Yeah.
So I would like Sasurai. But if he is going to remain loyal to Harmonia, then it's going to be Boris.
Yeah, I can see that because him being like younger son and all that stuff. So
my spicy take is Boris.
By the time 6 arrives, yeah, Boris is like maybe grizzled veteran and like nobody can like lead like I can now. And my dad's just like either in retirement or he's dead, sort of thing. So yeah, okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, it would be a toss up between Boris and Sasurai for me. Let me see. So, Tenki star of wisdom. So this is going to be the interesting one. So it's basically all the strategists. So Matthew, Shu, Caesar, not Eleanor, maybe Lucretia. But what do you think there? I mean, Matthew's gone, right?
Yeah.
Matthew's
So is
gone.
Eleanor. Eleanor
Right,
actually
Eleanor.
died during the events of Suikoden 4.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it comes down to two for me, and it's Shu and Lucretia.
Mm.
And Lucretia has a direct tie to Harmonia. I'm going Lucretia.
Okay.
Because she was trained. She has it. She seems like it. They allude to the fact that she was trained as a strategist in Harmonia. I'm going Lucretia.
Okay. All right. How come no Caesar?
He's a pain in the ass. He's you know what? He's too. I don't even call what he does strategy. Like what he does is literally, let's band together and fight as a cohesive unit.
Let's see what happens.
Congrats! Yeah. Like look what Lucretia did all throughout Suikoden 5.
That's true.
She constantly fought against much greater odds and decimated their forces to a point where it was almost kind of sad. It was kind of like she was just a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like, and it was almost like she had played the game before and just like jumped inside the game.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you ever saw that fan fiction of the guy that wrote a Dragon Ball fan fiction where he goes into the comic and his transport into Yamcha's body, he knows the story of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I feel like Lucretia did that with the game, man. Like she just knew everything, what was going to happen at all points in time. And Shu is a great strategist and all, but I kind of feel like she has more of a direct tie to them and is the better strategist and better character than Caesar.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. As you bring it up, like Caesar, like in 3, he was like, he's a strategist, but like he was still like immature. Versus what was the other Silverberg strategist that was with Luke?
Albert.
Yeah. While Albert was more like cerebral thinking, you know, while they were doing their tasks to take out the true runes, like Caesar was with them and being as calculating as possible, while Albert was being calculating. Caesar was like, not so much, right? He had older Apple with him, and it did what it could, but it wasn't like Caesar like outplayed Albert in 3. So I think I tend to agree with that as well. I think fan favorite. I think people would pick Shu because like Shu was like before that, like I was just making money, you know, and before I was being a strategist for the Dun Republic, yeah, like I just wanted to make money and retire, and then once that was done, and it said on his ending like he just quickly retired, basically. All right, so let's move on to the next star, Tenkan. Let me see. Scroll down. Okay, this is where it gets a little interesting. So Tenkan, you see 3 slots of Luke, right? And then Ted and Zarase there too. So at the end of 3, it was saying that, you know, Luke was like, okay, yeah, you did what you did. It said that he was getting a new body or that he was moving on. How'd you interpret the very end of 3?
So what I interpreted was that like he screwed up.
Yeah.
And now he's just going to be at peace in the afterlife. Okay. I think he's gone.
He's moved on. Okay. And then Ted being gone, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have a default Zarase.
Okay. All right. So Zarase is okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, again, this is a scenario where 6 is happening. Yeah, of course they can say like, oh yeah, but we're gonna bring Luke back because reasons, right? Or we're gonna bring Ted back because reasons, right? But if we're looking at everybody who's alive and who's not, yeah, Zarase would be like by default the representative of Tenkan. Okay, so that was a quick one. Let's see, 10U. So we got Humphrey with 2 slots, Dupa, Tal, and Craig. Is it Chris Craig? Yeah. Dragon Knight?
He was the Dragon Knight rider.
Rider.
He was the leader of them.
Okay. I was looking at it. He looks like a Dragon Knight. I'm trying to remember it. I just remember the 2. I forgot about Craig. Okay. So what are we thinking here? I mean, Tal. Anybody from 4?
Tal's dead.
Tal's dead.
Well, I think we actually have another gimme here.
Yeah.
And Tal is dead. And from what we can understand, so is Humphrey. Because when we meet Futch in Suikoden 3, it appears as if he's carrying Humphrey's sword. Humphrey at the time of Suikoden 2 was well into his 40s.
That's true.
15 years passes. Okay. He's either retired or he's dead. So I think that eliminates Humphrey. It eliminates Tal. Craig was also old during Suikoden 5.
Yeah.
So he could be gone. I think our answer is Dupa.
Dupa? Okay. Okay, I can see that. A little bit of the disconnect is that Futch's giant sword doesn't really match the sword that Humphrey was having. Unless Humphrey was doing like different swords at different points. Because it just looked like a giant Buster sword versus Humphrey. I feel like it was more of a broad style.
Yeah, I could see that, but it definitely felt like he was taking on the role of Humphrey to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
It looked to me like he was carrying a weapon of Humphrey, and they changed designs of weapons all the time in Suikoden.
Yeah.
At one point, it looks like Humphrey has again a giant sword, but there's other times he looks like he has a more of a almost a katana shaped sword. So it's kind of hard to
lock it down.
See between Suikoden 1 and 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Either way, I believe he would be either too old or dead.
Yeah, I can see that now.
And Dupa does have a direct conflict with Harmonia on multiple occasions.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, and it would be good to have a animal morphic representative there too, rather than it just be humans and stuff like that. So yeah, okay, I can see that. Dupa being the representative, 10U. Okay, so another 10U. So the first 10U was Star of Bravery. The other 10U is different spelling. Is Star of Heroic Ferocity. I love that one. I love that.
Yeah.
That's the role. So we have Kasim, Hauser, Uber. That's interesting. Isaac, and then Galleon. Fan favorite. I think everybody would just pick Uber, right?
Yeah. So Uber would be the coolest one.
Yeah.
Right? That would be the funnest one. But again, I think, same as Sasra, I think he's going to be fighting you.
Yeah.
Uber loves to fight the Stars of Destiny. That seems to be his thing.
He does.
I don't think he'd ever want to side with us.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac is dead.
Yeah.
I believe that...
Galleon would be too, I feel like.
Probably Galleon, to be honest. Even though it's only... Well, actually, 9 years to Suikoden 1, and then 3 years to Suikoden 2, then 15. He's definitely dead.
Yeah.
He's definitely dead. And you know what? Probably Kazum as well. So I think we're kind of left with just Hauser.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. Yeah. You're looking at it. Yeah. Everybody's more on the older side, and then as nice it would be that Uber would switch sides, and you have Uber on your side. But then, then you have the argument with oh, but what about Peshmerga? And you have that going.
We have to have that conflict happen.
Yeah,
that has to happen.
Yeah.
So I believe that's why Uber will be on the opposite side and Peshmerga will return.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm putting that down. So it looks like Hauser would be the representative of other Tenyu. Moving on to let's see, Tenmo. So we got Kwanda, Kiba, Shiba, Axel, and Boz. Kiba's dead.
Right? Yep.
Because he died in 2.
So is Axel.
Axel's gone too. I mean, so you would have Shiba, possibly Boz, and Kwanda. I feel like Kwanda would just be a fortress general. He would be guarding a fortress in the lands, and not be oh, I'm gonna go with them to attack Harmonia. I feel like that's
yeah.
I feel like that's where Kwanda would be.
He'd also likely be too old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he fought in the War of Succession.
That's true.
And he was already, mid-age by the time you fought him. So he was. So I think it comes down to Sheba and Boz.
Boz, yeah.
And I'm actually gonna go with Sheba because we love a Unite Attacks, and we already picked Dupa. So a Unite Attack between Dupa and Shiba would be great.
Yeah.
Or Sheba, whatever you want to call him. So yeah, I'm going with Sheba.
Okay. Again, I'll agree with you there. I did like Boz's character, just him being wacky and all that stuff, and like you're following so and so. That's a little weird, but I liked his attitude in 5. But he wasn't usable, and it's like, oh man, because he had the stature of like you can use this person,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll tend to I'll agree with you, Sheba, for the Unite Attack, and again representation. You need the lizards in there, so yeah, okay. Definitely go with Sheba there too. So, okay, Tenai, Pesmerga.
Easy one for me.
Pesmerga filling the 2 slots. Lucia, and then Selma and Nakula.
Selma could be alive. Selma's an elf.
Selma's an elf. Yeah, that is true.
So she could definitely be alive. Nakula would definitely be alive, and Chief Lucia would be alive. All these characters are alive, but I'm going Pesmerga. For the story against Uber, we got to have that final confrontation. And as far as I remember, Pesmerga was better in Suikoden 1 than he was in Suikoden 2, so I'm going Pesmerga Suikoden 1.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you cannot deny the story arc of Uber and Pesmerga. Lucia does have a connection there. Or an indirect connection with Harmonia, right?
Correct. She fought against
them and stuff like that. And Lucia has a strong argument there. But if you ask like 100 people of Suikoden fans, I feel like they would want to see Pesmerga versus Uber. So yeah, I would also go Pesmerga as well. But yeah, no, Lucia would be a strong contender too, because everybody else. I mean. Nakula, I mean, there's potential for opening a story there. I'm forgetting where
with
Nethergate and all that stuff, but it's not strong enough to overpower Pesmerga or not even Lucia. So at that point, so yeah, I'd agree with that. Pesmerga for Tenny. Okay, so now let's see. We have the 10A here, star of 10A. So we have Gremio, Sierra. Yuri and Aldo and Leon. Okay. All right.
So for me, it comes down to 2. So Aldo's dead, and we actually got a confirmation of that he died while following Ted.
Yeah.
Yuri, I never really liked her character. Sierra's pretty cool, but it comes down to the 2 most loyal characters, Gremio and Leon. And it was hard, but I had to go with Gremio.
Yeah.
He's just too good of a faithful friend. You know what I mean? He's been there with Tyr through thick and thin, even when he was a small child. Yeah. I know he'd be getting up there in age by this point, but I feel like this guy has to make a return. And I barely have him edging Leon. Barely, because she's a great character herself.
Yeah. So, I'm actually going to go against you there and pick Leon myself.
Nice.
I love, don't get me wrong, I love Gremio myself too, just being that loyal friend, that loyal, whatever role that he was, big brother, uncle, quote unquote other dad. But I feel like in 2, he was just doing his thing, just being the, not the assistant, but just a partner to Tyr. And again, in the situational 6, you could just see him, he's in the castle, making stew and taking care of Tyr's things, and all that stuff. As a fighter soldier, he wasn't too much of a standout, even if you maxed out Gremio at some point with the good rune and max weapons and levels. It was just okay, right? Leon has an interesting backstory there. With how everything unfolded in 5, being trained in Nethergate, and then having a true rune, half of a true rune, given to her, and then like and how she is like fighting wise. Yeah, I'd make the argument for Leon for me personally. I agree. I would agree with you, Gremio, but like Leon wins it out for me personally.
He's definitely the better fighter.
Yeah, definitely the better fighter for sure. Next star is also called the Tenny star, but it's called the Lofty star. The one before that was the heroic star. You have Warren, Teresa, Salmon, Reinbach, Tagil.
Telgil, yep.
Yeah, this. I mean,
it's a weak cast.
It's a weak cast. Like I feel like you could just pick whoever, and like anybody would be fine with it.
Well, likely Talgil and Reinbach are dead.
Yeah.
Warren could possibly be dead too.
Yeah.
Teresa does have a connection with Chief Lucia, but I'm going Salome all the way. Out of all of these characters that are alive, Salome was the only one you could fight with.
Yeah.
And he was a good strategist. He has a background against Harmonia. He did fight against them.
Yeah.
So I'm going Salome kind of by default. You know what? If Reinbach was still alive, I'd pick Reinbach. Just for the fun. Just because he's fun.
And if there was like a new star and like the new generation Reinbach, then Reinbach would be that star. But yeah, I would have to agree because like Teresa's story basically concluded into, and like they were having that ongoing negotiations with Lucia, but it wasn't like but not like Teresa's gonna go fight Harmonia, at Green Hill, I would tend to agree. Yeah, Salome was a solid strategist, not the strategist, but he was a solid one for Chris's story, and and then he has the experience fighting against Harmonia, so I tend to agree. Salome would probably be the representative as the Lofty star there. Tenfu, Star of Wealth, Kunto, Nina, Jimba, Chipo, Chipu, yeah, and then depending Uresh or Urim.
Uresh. I hate Urim so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I always pick Erish.
I personally only played 5 once, and I ended up going with Urim.
No,
I did because like I didn't know there was the kind of the requirements to get Urish, but like I just
her story is so fun.
Yeah, so I missed out on that.
Have you not seen her story?
Not yet, no. But like once if I play 5 again, I'm definitely gonna go pick Urish.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's gonna pique your interest so much.
Okay.
So much. Like I'm not even gonna spoil a single second of it.
Okay. Good to know.
Oh, you have to see that.
Okay. Would Uresh be your representative for
100%?
Yeah. Okay.
Like tenfold. Uresh is, well. First of all, Chipu's likely dead.
Yeah.
Jimba is dead. We watched him die.
Yeah.
The only one that could contend is maybe Nina had some character development, became like a really badass character or something. But Uresh's story is tied in with Jean and tied in with a race older than the Sindar.
Wow.
Uresh speaks in riddles. She is a question mark wrapped in an enigma, and I want to know so much more because she is dressed like almost like a pharaoh.
Oh, okay.
And you go back to a kingdom of that time with her and Jean, and there's so many questions that arise.
Okay.
Uresh is also extremely powerful.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a very kick-ass character, and 1,000%. I not only would pick her for the star, I need to see her story. I have to see it.
You need to see the development of Uresh.
Oh, we need to find out what happened. Not only what happens with her later on, we need to know what happened.
Yeah.
What is going on? How does she know Jean? And what is their connection? We got to find this out, and you got to play that story.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, yeah, for me, it's going to be kind of default because I have not played the Uresh story. I mean, I would love Jimba to be their representative if he was alive, but he's not. So default, but for me, it would be Nina. Just character story progression. Like, oh yeah, I graduated. I'm still following Flick, but hey, like I'm a professor or whatever now. Or you know, you could throw a story in there for Nina for me. But yeah, Tenfu Star, interesting. Yeah, makes me want to go back and actually look, try to get Arash. All right, let's see. 10-man Star of Abundance. We have Cleo, and then we have Feather. Let's see. What are the three? Feather, Siegfried, or I can't. I'm not pronouncing that one. The Kraken one. Juan, Paula, and Din. Okay. Okay. I feel like, I mean, Cleo. I feel like Cleo would be there, just because, right? And
she's a warrior at heart.
Yeah, she is a warrior.
And she's also she's a fan favorite too.
Yeah.
For me, it really comes down to two characters.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Paula would actually probably be alive. She's an elf, right? She can live for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But I found her character not developed enough. They kind of whiffed on that. They could have had a very, very good connection with her in like elven villages or something. But they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's between General Dine and Cleo. And while Dine would make sense in the fact that he's a general and whatnot, I feel like the better character for this to go on an adventure is Cleo. So I'm going with Cleo.
Yeah. I think I would go Cleo too. I feel like if developers had their say, it would be the animal. It would be an animal. Just cause it would be an animal. I feel like you put Cleo versus an animal, and I think developers would pick the animal, but the fan base would probably pick Cleo. You know. Yeah, I think that's what they would go for. But yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would pick Cleo myself. You know, yeah, she did so much with, you know, she didn't have a lot going on in one, but she was in everything, the majority of everything in one. You know, so yeah, I would say Cleo. It would be like just a badass older soldier and then being there for Tyr, like Gremio and Pond too, right? Just being there for Tyr. So yeah, Cleo would do it for me.
This is the hardest one.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
This is the hardest one.
Tenko Star, Lone Star. So we have Victor filling 2 slots, Sergeant Joe. You have Kika, and then you have Kyle. All right, let's hear it.
Oh, okay, so this one is so difficult. Like, they have an all-star cast on here.
Yeah.
And by all intents and purposes, Victor is still alive and well.
Yeah. Right?
Like, we know that the Star Dragon Sword was given to Edge by him after they rescued Edge's village from vampires. So it's not like Victor died. He gave the sword to Edge. So we have no confirmation that he's dead at all, and he's still adventuring, probably with Flick.
Yeah.
Sergeant Joe, I really warmed up to him. At first, I was just like, really, a duck in a military costume? But you know what? As the story went on, without Sergeant Jody, as they called him a couple times Sergeant Joe, man, that guy was the rock for Hugo. Without Sergeant Joe, Hugo would have been screwed.
Yeah, Hugo.
He would never have survived. Yeah. He would have made so many stupid decisions that got himself killed. Sergeant Joe is just an awesome character. Kika, out of these, and believe it or not, is my favorite of them.
Oh yeah, Kika's super.
Kika's such a great character. Yeah. Oh my god. But the problem is, we have confirmation that she dies on the high seas. So she does have the Falcon rune, which some people have stated, maybe that makes you immortal because, we've seen the Falcon rune kind of go throughout the games. It's not a true rune, but where they supposedly got it is from graduating from a school from Randir Haya.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if that's true, that means that Randir Haya is immortal. Because Kika has the Falcon rune, but it's 150 years before Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
So it's possible she was somehow immortal in some way, but we have confirmation at the end of Suikoden 4 that she meets her end on the high seas. Yeah. So Kika does die, unfortunately. And you know what? Kyle's great.
Yeah,
I thought
Kyle's
Kyle
good
was
too.
the perfect combination of Victor and Flick. I
Yeah,
thought they grabbed those two characters, they put Flick's abilities,
hmm,
right, his magical and sword abilities, and took Victor's personality and
yeah,
meshed it together.
yeah,
Kyle's fantastic, but I gotta go with Victor.
yeah. You can't
If I
you,
recall better, or if I recall, Victor was better in Suikoden 2 than he was in Suikoden 1.
yeah,
Because I'm pretty sure in Suikoden 1 he missed constantly. His accuracy was terrible.
yeah,
Uh, and I just feel like his story was better told in Suikoden 2. So my number is going to go towards Suikoden 2, picking Victor. Very, very difficult one for me to pick. If anyone chose Sergeant Joe or Kyle, I wouldn't even
I wouldn't be
blink an
mad
eye.
at
I'd
it.
be like,
I wouldn't be mad
I'd
at
be
that.
like, I get it, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it. Like those
yeah,
characters are fantastic.
yeah.
So, Suikoden 2, Victor.
Yeah, yeah. No, like if anybody would pick anybody else in this roster of the 1 through 5, I wouldn't disagree. Like again, you've put in a story why Kika is still alive, and like yeah, no, yeah, Kika
If
definitely.
you somehow made Kika still alive, I'm picking Kika a
Yeah,
thousand
yeah,
a
right,
thousand times.
right.
My God, what a great character
Yeah,
she
yeah,
is.
no, yeah, I totally agree. Sergeant Joe again, yeah, again, great character. Kyle being that fun, playful character, but like when he knows when to be serious. Yeah, yeah, this entire like roster, like you can't go wrong. But I would tend to agree. You would have to have Victor. You have to have Victor, no matter whether he's older or he's taken out of battle and maybe he's just being like more of a mentor leader sort of thing, but people just want Victor in there because everybody loves Victor at this point, you know. Again, you can't go wrong with this roster. I'm picking Victor as well. Let me see, 10 show, it would be
From
okay.
Suikoden 1 or 2?
Oh no, definitely two.
Definitely 2. Okay.
Yeah. So 10 show star, interesting here again, Valeria, you got Hugo, you got Kenneth, and you got the guy. Hmm.
If you click the B, it's Tomo.
Oh, okay. B. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh right, because
Which is weird because it probably should be Kasumi, wouldn't it?
you would think, right? Yeah,
You would think, like,
yeah,
because you pick between the two.
yeah,
That's so odd.
yeah. That would be interesting. If yeah, that they would transition from one star to another too.
Yeah, so I guess if you pick Kasumi, Tomo becomes the wounded star.
Right. Okay.
That's so strange.
Yeah, that
I
is
never
interesting.
noticed that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Let me see. Valeria, Tomo, Hugo, Kenneth, and Zagai. I mean, I don't know. Like Valeria is a strong argument there. Um, Tomo, nah, I don't know. I think she was just she felt like she was just the daughter of Tasai, and Tasai
Mm.
like kind of overpowered that. Um, Zagai, maybe I have like maybe. I have an affinity towards Hugo because he was always my flame champion for me personally.
For me, I'm gonna spoil it right now. Hugo's mine.
Yeah,
I got Hugo all the way because he's the one with the most story out of them.
yeah.
Sure, Valeria has a backstory of like, graduating from Conicon and
Mm,
becoming a general and all
yeah,
that stuff, and that's fun and whatnot. But the story Hugo goes through is much more in depth.
yeah,
You become much more attached to Hugo as you go through. Zagai's cool, like he's got like that stoicness to him, and he's like
yeah,
a fun character to recruit and
yeah.
all. But to pick him over a character like Hugo is crazy to me. So Hugo's mine 100%.
Yeah, no.
Kenneth's dead,
Yeah.
but I would never pick Kenneth anyway because like a lot of characters in 4, just wasn't expanded on enough. So yeah, Suikoden 3,
Hmm.
Hugo for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean like yeah, I agree. Hugo, it would have to be Hugo. Like going back to what you're saying about Kenneth and like the four of that crew of like Tal and Kenneth and them, like
Hmm.
they were just like you created their story as you were like picking who's going to go with Laszlo, because they didn't have much. It was like, oh, they were just buddies with Laszlo. But
Hmm.
like for me, I was like, okay, I was kind of doing headcanon of my own headcanon. It's like, oh, so Tal is like best buddies with Laszlo because like they're kind of fun loving sort of thing, and I was doing that because they were kind of like empty stories. I was kind of creating my own with those characters, and yeah, sometimes some playthroughs I pick Kenneth, sometimes a lot of the times I would pick Tal, and then yeah, so like you can't really do anything with like those characters for me personally.
They're quite blank.
Yeah, they're really blank. You can make your own story and say like, oh, this is the reason why they went with Laszlo, sort of thing.
The only exception is like, if you play Suikoden Tactics, you know that Kenneth becomes the vice captain of the Knights.
Right.
But other than that, you don't really get much on him. You don't know where he's from. You don't know what he does. You don't know what he likes.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot there. Like, I'm sure if you deep dive really heavy, you could probably find a few things here and there, but there's not a lot interesting about Kenneth.
Yeah. Or even like that crew of them. Yeah.
Yeah, all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely go with Hugo. Yeah, Valeria is a strong argument. Tomo not so much, but like definitely Hugo with what he went through. It'd be crazy not to have an older Hugo coming into.
I can't wait.
Suikoden 6, and Feather. Is it Feather? That's with him, right?
No, it's Fubar.
Sorry, Fubar. I got my birds mixed up. Yeah, Fubar with them. Yeah, I would. That's what I would love to see, like an older grizzled Hugo and Fubar. Tenritsu. Okay, Griffith, Fletcher, Basba, Ramada, and Isato. Okay. For me, the only ones that stand out is Basba and Isato.
Yeah, that's same for me.
Yeah,
because Griffith didn't do a hell of a lot to begin with.
Yeah.
Fitcher is a mayor.
Fitcher,
right? He's a mayor of Muse. Ramada's dead.
Yep.
So it comes down to Basba and Isato. I'm actually going to go with Isato because he had more personality.
Mm-hmm.
It adds. We already have 2 lizard men.
2 lizards. Yeah.
It adds an element with the elves. I love that stuff when you add dwarves and elves and stuff into a story.
Yeah.
And Isato, for me, he had this crazy loyalty, but he was also a fierce fighter at the same time, but he knew when to use it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Isato.
Yeah, he definitely had that priest monk vibe going, but like he'll attack if he has to, sort of thing, defend a homeland or like a sacred homeland, sort of thing. So yeah, I would agree with you with Sato for the Tenritsu star. Let's see what star is next. This might be a little bit of a longer episode because we're kind of having good discussions. Yeah, discussion with each star. All right, other Tensho star, Tensho star, the Swift star, is Clive for 1 and 2, Yoon, Travis, and Haswar. Haswar, for 5. What do you think there?
So chat, I want you to take a good long look because you're wrong if you did not pick Clive. My God. Oh my God. It is Clive. Suikoden 2, 1000%. Suikoden 1, Clive didn't have enough going on. The story that pops up in Suikoden 2 for Clive, his just insane connection to the Howling Wind Guild or whatever you want to call them because they changed their name a couple times throughout the translation, whatever. Is fantastic, and that is located in Harmonia. Yeah. Clive has a story in Harmonia as he's going back to seek justice for framing Elsa and making him kill someone that is innocent. Yeah. Clive over and over, and if you pick any of these other characters, chat, you're wrong.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. Why would you pick Travis? Because you want to play a mini game? No, that's not strong enough argument.
Travis is dead anyway.
Right.
So is Yoon.
Yeah.
And Haswar was just sitting in her little sacred land.
Yeah, and that's all she's doing. She's not going to do anything else. So yeah, definitely Clive. It would just be Clive. You can't have anybody else. All right, Tenan star. All right, here we go. The Dark Star, Flick 1 and 2, Edge, Snow, Belkut. All right. This an argument.
This was difficult.
This is an argument to have here. I can see it. Where would you go?
So Snow is dead.
Yeah.
And just to irritate people, I would have picked Snow if he was alive. Y'all hate him for a very minor thing. He's actually not that bad of a character.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edge kind of falls out a little bit because we're not as attached to him, but he does have a pretty nice backstory having to deal with vampires, and he has a very similar story to Victor, but he's got a lot more of a calmer attitude about him. But he kind of falls out for me. It's between Belkut and Flick. I'm actually going to go Flick Suikoden 1 because he had more story in Suikoden 1. Okay. I want to pick Belkut, but I'm not going to. The reason why I wanted to pick Belkut is because he's just so damn likable, right? He also it graduated from as a star swordsman and like has like a rivalry going with Hazuki, I think her name is. It's very fun. He's a fun character, and you really get to know him, especially at the beginning of 5. But Flick, my God, that story that he deals with the Liberation Army and the Warriors tribe. Yeah, gotta go Flick. Yeah. And if you picked Victor, what is Victor without Flick?
Yeah,
Flick,
exactly.
Suikoden 1.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for Edge, and you can say like, oh, yeah, this is the new generation, and yeah, you would have Edge filling that star, but it's Flick being in that same category. It's like I feel like you can't go against Flick, and and you think about and maybe you played the Gaiden games, those story games that they had, where they are continuing to do things after like the main games, right? So yeah, it would have to be Flick. I would go with Suikoden 2 Flick, because I'd want to see like the progression of he's more like more of a veteran at this point, and what does it look like even more? Is he going to be more of a leader? Is he going to be more like I'm the old guy, just being a swordsman now? Being on his warrior village mission, his mission there, and not coming home, that sort of thing. I would go with Suikoden 2 Flick for me personally. You would go more immature Flick.
Yeah. The immature Flick was the one that had the most most story driven.
Yeah. Okay.
Suikoden 2 Flick, as much as he was much more wise and mature, he was also very depressed.
Yeah. That's true.
He was very depressed, very down.
Yeah.
Either Flick is fine because it's Flick. Right?
Yeah. All right. So we have another Tenyu. I'm starting to see like repeated names.
Yeah, there's repeated stars.
Yeah. Tenyu star, the Guardian star. So some of them have. Two of them have a running theme, but Camille, Sai, Yumi, and then Rachel, and then Norma for the 5. All right. What would you go here?
It kind of goes Sai just kind of by default.
Yeah.
Yumi was not a very compelling character.
Yeah.
Rachel's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Norma, her entire story that was compelling to begin with was her
cheetah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her leopard or whatever it was.
The leopard. Yeah, sorry, you're right.
I think it was a leopard. Yeah, like it had mostly just to do with the fact that she was looking for a wizard to help out her friend. That's kind of it. Camille, probably a close second to Sai. Yeah. To Sai. And Sai is just I wouldn't even call it. I'd still call this actually kind of a weaker star. Right? There's not a lot there. So I think it just comes down to those two, and I pick Sai.
Yeah, I would agree, but only because of the reason of his moniker, the Divine Spear. You can't like that is so much of a badass name, and then like that kind of has like a reputation, like, oh, this is the god person of spears. If his
fire spear,
and like, oh, he's so proficient with being a spear user. Like, yeah, I definitely see him as like, this guy is a legend in 6. If he was be to put in 6, he would be like, he would just be like the, he'd just be like, this is this legendary spear fighter, and like you hear the stories of everything that it evolves around Sai. So yeah, I would pick Sai as well. Not so much of an argument with Camille. She became a general, I believe, and that was it. All right, so let's see. Moving on, Tenku. So we have Kreutz, Jess, Fubar, Helga, and Axe. Okay. Everybody. I have to go Fubar. Like, what's you go without Fubar? For me personally.
So Helga's dead.
Yeah.
Axe is a dragon horse.
Yeah.
Jess is a douche.
Yeah.
Kreutz is likely dead.
Yeah.
Kreutz does have a nice backstory, being that He was the rival to Humphrey.
Yeah.
They fought against each other in the 7 Years' War. All that stuff's really fun, really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing Kreutz in the remaster. The fact remains, by Suikoden 6, he's got to be dead by now.
Yeah.
He was already an older guy in Suikoden 1. So I can only imagine, 18 years in the future.
Yeah.
If he is still around, he ain't in fighting shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got to be Fubar.
Fubar. I mean, I'd make the argument if you want to switch it up, have a dragon in your roster, then yeah, sure, Axe. But Fubar is so much of a stronger.
And we already have Hugo.
Yeah, we already have Hugo. So you can't have one without the other. Again, it's like the Flick and Victor thing.
Right.
You need to have Fubar with Hugo. But yeah, I mean, I can make the argument oh yeah, have a dragon in your roster. But yeah, no, Fubar definitely all the way. Let's see. 10 Soko, the Speedy Star. This is interesting. So you have Stallion 1 and 2. You have Nash. That's interesting. Cedric and Cathari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
They're like the Speedy Star because they named it after Stallion there, and then
but
then
you have
Nash.
But then you have Nash. Like, what's going on there?
Like maybe Cathari because she has a gun. That's why she's fast.
Okay.
So Cedric is dead.
Yeah.
And now this one's actually very close for me, because Nash is very intriguing. If you saw the Suikoden games, right?
Yeah.
He's got that backstory to him, and he's a spy for Harmonia. That kind of flip-flopped on sides, so he's kind of in there too. Stallion is a cool elf character that we kind of relate back to because of Suikoden 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm very story driven. Very story driven. I love all that stuff. It's Cathari for me, because Cathari has a connection to both Clive and Lucrezia, and two of those characters I already picked because she's a part of that guild, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And she has a history with Lucrezia. They don't really dive very deep into it in the game, but it seems like there is something very, very interesting boiling there.
Okay.
So for me, Suikoden 5, Cathari.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna go Nash, because like what you see from 3, and then how things unfold with the guiding games. It's like, oh wow, he did a lot more than what's being led on. So I do like to see that established. Like, oh yeah, it's Nash, but like, what is he gonna do this time? Like he's gonna be participating in whatever thing that's gonna happen for 6.
And yes, chat, I do realize that I stated that I'm very story driven and picked the character that is not story driven in comparison to Nash. I do understand that, but I think there's an underlying story with Cathari that is going to be very interesting. That's why I said it was close. It's, Cathari and Nash, because Nash has already so much story built into him. But I want to see more with Cathari. I love the gun characters.
No, I would go with that too. Like, Cathari has potential, a lot of potential there, and again, as you mentioned, like being connected with those other characters. So yeah, I can see why. But yeah, Stallion, Stallion just became, oh, I'm just a speedy character. Like, there's nothing else beyond that. I mean, he could still be like a side character that you see running around, and maybe you have like a side mission thing with him. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'd go with Nash, but Luca goes with Cathari. That's cool. That's a good division there. All right, moving on. 10 Star, Strange Star. You have Cage, Kage, however you want to pronounce that.
Cage, just to annoy people.
Legend of Cage. Yeah. George. You got George there. Alia, Keen, and George 5. Yeah. So, how about you? Well, like I mean,
the choice is obvious. It's Suikoden 5's George.
Yeah.
Like it's listen, Kage is cool. Sorry, Cage. Is cool and all, and he develops that ninja group that is a bunch of assassins, and they're like dangerous people, yada yada yada. That's kind of cool and all. But George freaking Prime.
Yeah.
He is the Chuck Norris of the Suikoden universe.
Yeah, he is.
And we got to see so much more out of him in Suikoden 5, and he was better in Suikoden 5 than he was in Suikoden 2.
Suikoden 2, yeah.
It's George. Isla's, a cool character and all. She's fine. Keen's dead and not really that useful. Yeah. But it's just obvious. Suikoden 5, George for me.
Yeah. This is the only time, like, again, like other stars that I was picking, I would want to go with I'd want to go with the veteran star, but you cannot deny what George 5 was. Like, extremely badass. You see the reason why he's George Prime. By 2, he's like, oh, I'm not even so much of a shadow of him former self. He's like, he's just on the run. He knows who he is, but he's not really showing you like who George Prime is. 5, George Prime is showing you why he's George Prime. You know, but yeah, I would agree. I'd go with 5 George Prime over 2. I mean, yeah, Kage Cage. Yeah, like, oh, hire me. I'll do your mission, and that's about it. And like, oh, I also got hired by the quote unquote bad guy too. So I have that neutrality to me. But like, no, you cannot deny George Prime. For me personally, yeah, I'd go to. I agree. Go 5 Prime for me for the Tenny star, the Strange star, Tensatsu star, the Murderous star, and then you look at this roster. Gosh, okay, Fusulu, you have Hannah, you have Helic, you have Gao, and then you have Ernest, or there's a B there. Let me see.
Ernest.
You have Ernest.
It's the human.
Oh, the human version of Ernest. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So this feels like, for me, the battle of like the big boy or big girl, right? Fusulu, like Haas character, like, oh yeah, I'm strong, like 100 people, over 100 people. Hannah just being like this. She was from Nameless Lands, right? That's Hannah.
I actually don't remember where Hannah's from.
Okay, I feel like that was associated with Hannah, as I remember recruiting and like learning about her story. And then like you have Helic being like this barbarian beast, and then again you have the same thing with Gal, but it looks like, again, Gal looked like, yeah, Gal would be dead, I feel like. Even though he's like a Blanca type character, and he was pretty cool in that sense. But then Helic also kind of fills that role too. Fusulu, like I have an affinity because he looks like Tiger Mask, the wrestler, and yeah, he has dual wield axes. So I'm personally would go Helic, just to progress his story some more, for me personally.
Yeah, I'm going with Helic as well, and the reason why is his people have been under attack, and that's why he came seeking the Flame Champion's help. There's storyline there, right? His people will have conflict with Harmonia. There's more story to him than there is the other characters here. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going with Helic.
Yeah. Okay. So 10B star, the lowly star, you have Kirkus, Kylie, Chris, Gretchen, and Kylie 5. Where are we going here?
Okay, this one's hard.
A little hard.
Okay, so Gretchen's dead, so that makes that easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Kirkus, we do have a connection with him and all, but I think he falls to the next 2, and that's Killy and Chris. And this is so difficult because I love Chris so much. I think she's a fantastic character. She's really fun. She's got that inner turmoil with battling with herself between, her duty to being a knight, but also doing the right thing. Yeah. And then she, had prejudice towards the grasslands, but when she went there, she understands that they're just people that have different beliefs and values. Yeah. And you see the evolution of her character right in front of you. I think she's an awesome character. She's a very strong character. But Killy has the mystery about him, and he's chasing the Sindar. Yeah. And you gotta have the Sindar in there. And it pains me to not pick Chris. It really does. And I found Killy to be more interesting in Suikoden 5 than in Suikoden 2. Yeah. Although in Suikoden 2 he did have, now he has the scars on him and stuff, and has like that history. I gotta go. This sucks. It sucks doing this. Killy, Suikoden 5.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you too. Chris is a standout soldier. There's no denying that. Story unfolds. You see what the ups and downs that she went through, and I feel like by that end, she would, when push comes to shove, or if she was ever gets summoned, she would be in that battlefield, going up against Harmonia. And she has, so she has that experience, and she felt if she was called to do like a final battle, she would be there. There would be
absolutely
no question. But yeah, Kylie, as you were saying, the mystery of Sindar that is still like left unanswered.
It trumps all.
Yeah, yeah. You can't deny it. And then again, and you read about who the Sindar are, and they're like how they just don't have an actual home. They keep going from like one place to another and having all these secrets like that. You can't deny. Like there's so much potential there versus like what Chris did in her story and what she could do in the next story. But yeah, I would agree with you there. Kylie all the way for me. Kylie 5, definitely. We haven't even gone to like the non-fighting characters, and we're still going on here. Let's see the Tenku star, Milik, Anita, Estella, Conrad, and Shula. A little weaker here.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, again, Conrad's dead.
Yeah.
Shula is interesting in a way that Shula is connected to a lot of political scandal stuff that's going on with the actions of Suikoden 5.
New arms, right?
New arm or Armis, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's Armis. That's how they pronounce it. But for me, it's got to be Estella, because Estella again is there's more mystery there, right? She's a super powerful sorceress that claims that she can rival Crowley and Mazis. She claimed to have bested Crowley before. I doubt it. But if that's true, that's really interesting, and I would like to see more of that going forward. Anita, I mean, without Valera, she's kind of just there. So and Milich at this point, probably, even if he's not too old, he's tending to the graves of Emperor Barbarossa and Windy. So I don't really feel like he'd have much of a connection there. I think if any of them would be returning, it'd be Estella.
So as you were saying about Milich, like I feel like, as he's tending to the garden, I feel like he would just be more about his fashion at this point. Anita, I mean, you can just put in a character that has a Falcon rune, and then you're fine there. You have one. So I don't like Anita's not that strong of an argument. Estella has been like the trolley like character, and it was fun to try to recruit her, and it's like, and see how like the trainee was like, she told me to do this so I could get strong, and it's like it did nothing for what the tasks that the person was doing, but she just gives those mundane tasks. So like there's a hint of comedy there, but I would definitely go with Stella. And just again, there's like a little bit of mysteriousness, like, are you really that strong, or are you just faking it, or and stuff like that. So I go to Stella too. Let's see, the Tentai star, the retreating star. So we have, let's see, Pawn, Feather. Who's the three? Let's see, Pawn, Feather, Siegfried. Okay,
Siegfried.
The other animals. Cecile, Jewel, and Shun. I mean.
5 characters that don't retreat.
Yeah.
The retreating star, says the guy that literally stood there in front of an army and dueled the most dangerous general. Okay.
Held him off.
For me, it's easy. It's Pawn, right? I think that's just the answer, right? Your Jewel's already dead. Cecil or Cecil, or however you want it. I think it's Cecil. She's honestly not really that interesting. She just kind of is a guard and is happy to be a guard. The animals are animals. And the only one that would be, any type of competition would be Shun, because he's a gladiator, and there's that whole story. And he tells you the backstory of Morgan, which is pretty cool. But it's Pawn. Like, come on. If we're being serious here.
Looking at the roster, like, no, I'm a Pawn guy, and even with this selection of roster, like, no, the strongest one out of everyone here would be Pawn. Even though after his story finished and he's just hanging around, but like he would be a soldier that would, if called, he would definitely would go have that battle, and then being with, say like you have Cleo, then you can have Pawn,
exactly,
that sort of thing. So I would go with Pawn myself too. Tenju star of longevity. So we have Sonya, Nanami, Geto, Katarina, and Bernadette for the 5. What are we going here?
Well, Katarina's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I like to point that out at every star in case you guys haven't noticed. I like to point out that they're dead, chat. They're dead. So don't get on my chat. Don't get on me for not. Don't get on me for picking picking a lot of 4 characters. Okay, there might be 1 or 2 here and there along the way, but not likely because they're all gone.
They're dead.
Don't blame me. Blame the writers. For me, this is kind of a weaker cast as it really comes down to Nanami and Godot. Yeah. And Nanami's kind of annoying, so I'm picking Godot because he's a little bit more experienced. He knows Harmonia quite well. He's battled against them. He's battled for them. Holds a true rune. Has been around forever. Yeah, going with Godot.
Yeah, again, I agree with you there. Sonya's story is self-contained. Like, oh yeah, I hate Tyr, but that's it. I'll still be a general. Nanami, whether you have her survive or not, I mean, she's just there for along the ride in the end. And then Katarina's dead. Bernadette, I don't have a strong feeling for Bernadette. But Godot has a story there.
Sonya's mother has a better story than Sonya does. And we don't even have her as a character. We have her backstory that you can find written pretty much online or any of the Suikoden books there. Her mother's much more of an intriguing character than her, so it's Godot.
That's funny. She didn't live up to the hype of the mother.
Exactly.
She's Mother Light, basically. Okay. Yeah. So that's the Tenju star. Let me see. All right. And then next up, we have the Tenken star, the Dagger star, Anji, Rina, Melville, Losang, and Volga. Little weaker roster here.
Yeah.
I'd go with Rina.
Yeah, same. While Melville would be interesting as he grows up or whatever. We don't know enough about Melville to know exactly how he's going to turn out, and we know quite a bit about Rina. And besides, who else is going to have an adult conversation with some guards to get us through?
And circus goes around everywhere, So like, there's that strong possibility of Rina would be there with Bolgan,
correct,
and Ellie.
Well, also she's from the grasslands, so
that too. Yeah. I'd agree with Melville too. Like, there's a chance there. Like, what would he do after 3, and grow, being more grown up, and then that's it. Losang, 4, Losang dead. Volga, I literally forgot what Volga did at that point. So
he's like a community guy that's a rough, tough guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He trained Kyle how to fight.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I would go with Rina. So, Tenhei, level star, Taiho 1 and 2. You have Ace, Shiraname, sorry, and Lance.
I wanted to see you sit there and struggle with that one. The only reason why I know that is because I've played Suikoden 4 enough times where when the video plays, they say his name when you fish him up from the boat. And
that's right. You fish him up.
I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna let him struggle. This is gonna be fun. For once, I'm not the one screwing up the name.
No, that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take the hits. Let me see. I mean, Taiho's story is more self-contained.
It's Taiho. Like Ace would be the only one to compete with him. But he's more of a comic relief. And while Taiho is comic relief as well, he seems to have a lot of connections.
That's true.
Right? He has that underground kind of,
underbelly, CD.
He goes against the law kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, he can sneak you around and with him comes the dice game. So,
that's true.
Taiho, Suikoden 2.
Taiho, yeah. I would agree with you there. Yeah, there's a potential for Ace just being more of the storyteller from just being more of the author. And then Lance, sure, you can have a dragon if you want. if you want that argument. But like, yeah, Taiho, I think Taiho would win it out for me personally. Tensai, Kanak, Ellie, Alanis, Lofong, and Wasil.
Wazzle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a funny name.
I mean, yeah, I stick with the circus with Ellie.
Yeah, same. The other characters are just not very intriguing in terms of a Suikoden 6 story. So yeah, Suikoden 2, Ellie.
Yeah. Let's see, Tensen, Broken Star, Yamku, 1 and 2, Queen, Ugetsu, and Flail. I mean, Yamku is there too. Queen, there's a air of mystery there with Queen.
For me, it's 100% Queen because her country was recently conquered by Harmonia.
By Harmonia, so there's a reason. Yeah.
All right, so her country is a bunch of third-class citizens.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's the really, 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 really dumb fan theory that she is actually Gilia. So we have to have that meme continue just to irritate me, right? So Queen, Suikoden 3.
So wait, no, educate me. So people are thinking.
Oh, you haven't heard this?
No, I never heard this. No.
Oh my God, this is the dumbest fan theory I've ever heard in my life when it comes to Suikoden. But everybody's got to bring it up during my stream every chance they get. The whole thing is that Queen and Gilia are of similar age and they have the same hair and eyes, and I'm like, cool, that has nothing to do with it. When we have a literal they're like, oh, because she was supposed to leave and like change her name or whatever, right? Meanwhile, Joey literally put her in Harmonia in a safe place with Pilika. So if Queen is Gilia, then where the hell is Pilika? Right? Where is she? And why isn't she living a life of luxury like Joey set her up to be?
Yeah.
And why does Queen hate Harmonia so much for conquering her home country? We have a backstory for Queen. For God's sakes, people. Queen is not Gilia. It is the dumbest fan theory I've ever heard in my life when there's
hilarious.
Actual evidence pointing to otherwise.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I'm caught up now. I got it. The Tenpai star, the Vanquish star, you have Leonardo, Bolgan, Elliot, Lohawk, and Orok. I mean, really?
I think we know.
Yeah, Bolgan. I mean,
Bolgan. It's the circus returns.
Yeah, the circus returns. I don't see anybody else being stronger than that. Really.
No.
What, Elliot was like having aspirations to be an author? Wasn't that a thing or no?
I actually don't even remember. He was such a minute character.
Yeah. Lohawk is dead. I mean, I don't really remember Orok doing much.
Orok is a bastard that was working for the bad people in Suikoden 5.
Right?
Yeah, so he was recruiting townsfolk to fight for Gazelle in Suikoden 5, but he ended up joining our side because it was kind of swayed to us that had he not been in charge of drafting people, the Knights would have come in and just drafted everyone rather than him just sending some at a time and like sparing the town of losing all their people.
Gotcha.
So it was like, all right, fine. He was, mitigating damage, but I still don't like the guy.
Yeah, okay. All right, up next, the Tenro star, the Gold star. Hicks, 1 and 2, Franz, Raki, and then Rakaji, and then Euron.
Pretty easy for me. Hicks, Suikoden 1.
Yeah, I'd go with Hicks. I'd go with Hicks here too.
The story that he had in Suikoden 1 was very compelling. The story he has in Suikoden 2 is just kind of goofy.
Yeah, more jokey.
Right, so I go Hicks, Suikoden 1. He was more out to prove himself in that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's argument to be made with Franz, but you would need his I forgot his partner's name, the bug.
Ruby,
right. I mean, there's a little bit of a story there, but I mean, Hicks really overpowers Franz and anybody else in this roster, so I'd go with Hicks too.
Not to mention, I believe he still works for Harmonia.
Right, because they're trying to be second class, right?
Yeah,
second class citizens. Yeah, but everybody's calling him a sellout too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Up next, the Tensui star, the star of intelligence. Tengar, Iku, Riki, and Nick. I mean, you can't have Hicks without Tengar, really.
Tengar Suikoden 1. Again, her character was more compelling in Suikoden 1 than 2.
Yeah.
In Suikoden 2, again, it was more playful, and she was just overpowered as hell in Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
So again, story and character, better Suikoden 1, Tengar.
Yeah. Yeah. No argument there. Let's see. Tenbu, Varkas, Freed, Scott, Django, and Wilhelm.
Who you got?
There's an argument to be made, like both Varkas and Freed would, if called, they would go show up. I'd go with Freed. Freed's a nice guy.
So I'm actually going to go with Suikoden 5's Wilhelm because he's a mercenary, and I think he would be more likely to show up.
Okay.
As a mercenary, you're going to pay him.
Sure.
He is an intriguing character. He's a giant. Him and Mueller are giants.
Oh, that's right.
Right, especially Mueller. Mueller's so tall his head doesn't fit in the screen.
Yeah, I remember now.
So, out of all of these characters, I find Wilhelm to be the most intriguing going forward. So, Suikoden 5, Wilhelm.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, I go with Freed. He's clean cut and all that stuff, and that's fine with me. Yeah, I forgot about Wilhelm until you mentioned, like, oh yeah, his partner was too tall. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. They were both tall people. Okay, so let's see. Tenkoku. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Tenkoku, Sidonia, Yoshino, Ernie, Breck, and Mueller. Mueller is the other tall one, right?
Yeah. So by default, it's Mueller goes with Wilhelm.
Okay. Gotcha. Sidonia was a little bit mysterious, but like but beyond that, like that was it. Like there was nothing else that was mentioned about him, so his story kind of finished. I mean, like I picked Freed, but I wouldn't put Yoshino into that mix. I think I'd agree with you with Mueller. Yeah, you were just reminding me. Yeah, dude was too tall, and that was just funny. Mm-hmm. Just funny as I was watching it unfold. Okay, that's the Tenkoku star, and then the Tenko star, the clever star. We have Eileen, Chaco, Dios, Flair, and Toma. Where'd you got there?
Surprisingly, despite him annoying me in Suikoden 2, I'm actually gonna go with Chaco.
Chaco.
Flair would be dead.
Yeah.
Dios is a general in Harmonia.
Yeah.
Eileen is Lapont's wife and would be going where he goes. So it really comes down to Chaco and Toma. And Toma would be a grown man by then, so it'd be kind of interesting to see how he turned out.
Yeah.
But I think there's just too much of a question mark with him. Mm-hmm. He was a very courageous kid and wanted to help his village and everything like that. But Chaco adds an extra element of diversity along with him, and he's a pain in the ass to people.
Yeah.
I'm going Chaco Suikoden 2.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Yeah, like the same statements that you made. Toma, yeah, there's a potential there, but Chaco has even stronger. Like if called up, he would show up, and then as you mentioned, Dios, Harmonia in general. So like, you wouldn't see him being on your side. You would probably be fighting him, and then Eileen, Eileen would just be there again, probably just staying, at the Torn Republic. So yeah, Chaco would definitely win it out. All right, so that was the first set of stars. Now we're going to the next set of stars. Let's see. Chikai, Chief Star of Earth. You have Leon, you have Klaus, Albert, Tanya, and Cirrus. So Leon is dead, right?
We never got a confirmation of that.
Okay, so there's potentially like, oh yeah, no, I'm here all along.
I mean, it's likely that he's dead.
Yeah.
Because of his age.
Yeah.
Now Albert is his grandson. Mm-hmm. There is times where he's almost spoken about in past tense, but I don't think we ever got a confirmation that Leon was dead.
Okay.
So the only one that we do know is dead here is Tanya.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Cirrus was just a prison guard uh, for Lucretia, and then you have Klaus, and Klaus and Albert.
And Albert's working for Harmonia,
Yeah,
so
so
it's Klaus.
By default, it'd be Klaus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Chisatsu. You have George's, Gilbert, Mua, Jeremy, and Raven. I'd go with Mua.
Yeah, that's mine as well because Jeremy's dead.
Yeah.
Raven's not that interesting of a character. Gilbert's a mercenary, probably and he'd be retired by then. I'm pretty sure he's retired by Suikoden 3 because they talk about him in a past tense because they state that a couple of the guys in Godot's group were actually a part of Gilbert's mercenaries. Okay. So it's kind of being talked like past tense, whether he's dead or retired. Yeah. Kind of falls down to Mua, who is part of the Knights.
Yeah, the Camaro Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Chiyu Star, the Brave Star, Ivanov, Tetsu, Dominic, Gareth, Shinro. I mean, really, you could just put whoever you want.
Yeah, it's the weakest of them all.
I mean, I'll just for the hell of it, I just put Tetsu because of baths.
Yeah, I was like, who doesn't want a bath?
Yeah, right there.
Here comes the hardest one of them all.
Let's see. Chiketsu Star of Noble Wisdom. You have Jean, you have Jean, you have Jean, you have Jean, and you have Jean. Which Jean would you use? Which Jean would you pick?
Just to even this out so it's not fucking 0, I'm gonna go Jean Suikoden 4, even though Jean Suikoden 5 was the most compelling. Okay, so as she progresses in the games, she's more compelling. Suikoden 1, she's just a rune mistress that's supposed to be really hot. Suikoden 2, she's a rune mistress that's just supposed to be really hot.
Yeah.
And then Suikoden 3, she's a rune mistress that's just really hot, but oh wait, a dog can see what she really is. There's a mystery. Suikoden 4, she's back to being a rune mistress that's really hot.
Yeah.
But this time, you can fight with her, and she's one of the most powerful mages in the game. And then Suikoden 5 comes along where she becomes instantly one of the most iconic characters, the most powerful characters, one of the most story-driven characters.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm picking Jean Suikoden 4 because Jean Suikoden 5 is unbelievable. It's just an awesome character. I'm sick of looking at my list and seeing 0 on Suikoden 4. So Jean Suikoden 4 just so there can be a 1.
Finally, yeah. That's going to be the one right there. Yeah. I'm going to go with 5. I'm just going to go with 5.
You should. It logically makes sense.
She's down bad in 5. Like, come on. Like, look what she's wearing, dude. Come on. Man.
Well, it just makes sense with 5 because she's just so much better in 5. But I'm sick of seeing that 0. So there's my chance.
I pick Jean 5 because she has strong story elements. And then I'm just
absolutely.
I'm just looking at her outfit.
Chat, my pick is wrong. I will tell you right now, my pick is wrong. It is Jean 5, not Jean 4, but I'm picking Jean 4.
Yeah, because we need 4 representation.
Exactly.
Let's see. Chiyu, the heroic star. So we have this is a interesting list up my alley. So we have Eki, we have Wakaba, Shabon, and Leon. Lydion, and Norden. I'm going with. I mean, I like Eki being like, oh, I'm a strong guy, but Wakaba was super cool.
Yeah.
For me, when I realized I didn't pick Wakaba in my active roster the first time around, but when I picked her the second time, oh well, you just do kicks and they flame up and you're super badass.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
Norden. I mostly feel bad for Norden because he's a drunk with a really bad past, and has had to stay silent due to horrible things that his boss made him do.
Oh no!
But at the end, Wakaba's just so much cooler of a character.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, would you argue that mermaids are like long living?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would probably say that mermaids could live. So that gives some Suikoden 4 fans some hope
Some
here.
hope, yeah.
That because we have like 5 mermaids, so
Yeah. Right.
we could possibly get one.
Right. Okay. So
Remember, Suikoden 4 fans, I backed you up and picked Gene 4, even though it's the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Don't say another never did nothing for you.
Yeah. All right. The Chi star, the Majestic star. 2 Maximilians, 1 Fred, 1 Gary, 1 Isabel. I mean, what? Fred?
One of these things is not like the other. Hey, Gary, what are you doing there, man?
Yeah. What are you up to by 6?
Like, I have no idea why he's there. He's the only one that's not a Maximilian Knight. I'm actually going with Isabel.
Yeah?
I found her more intriguing. Now, Fred was kind of dumb. Like, he's a very good character. He's very strong.
He is.
And he's driven. You know, Maximilian would definitely be dead by now. He's an old man in Suikoden 2. He's definitely gone.
He was older man.
I'm pretty sure they confirmed that he's dead in Suikoden 3. So then we come down to Fred and Isabel, and I think Isabel is just such a better character. So yeah, definitely Suikoden 5. Isabel.
She's the best representation of the Maximilian Knights.
I do believe so. Yes.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I like Fred, but yeah, that's right. Isabel, like, yeah, because the Maximilian Knights were a little bit of a joke, and then Isabel showed up, and then
and she's
Isabel's
a badass.
Yeah. I'll agree with you there. The Star of Courage. We have Sancho, Geshu, Rico, Emma, and Matthias. Right there. Who are you picking?
So for me, it's Matthias because he comes with Isabel.
Yeah.
Emma's dead. Rico goes with Fred, and she's not very, convincing. Genshu, you get him so late in the game, there's just not a lot to him.
Yeah.
He's very strong, but there's not a lot to him.
But
so I'm going Matthias.
Yeah. And didn't he have the line like, we'll put their body in like the river or something like that?
Yeah.
He always goes off like, dang, why do you keep saying that for?
Yeah, he's a badass.
Yeah. Cheeky star, Grensel, Camius, Grensel, Percival, Sigurd, and Rahal. This is the pretty boy roster. Pretty boy 1.
Who do you think?
Really, the argument there, the contender here is either Camius or Percival for me. Grinsell, like, the request of Tio. He could be called up if asked, by 6. But Camius and Percival, I feel like they're cooler than Grinsell. But if I have to pick one, I like Camius better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Percival. And the reason why is there's more connection to a battle with Harmonia.
Oh, okay.
He's actually fought them.
Yeah.
He, for me, has more. There's more story to do with Percival than the others. Given, except maybe Rahal, but Rahal just his personality isn't strong enough for me.
Yeah.
And I find him he's kind of cool, but just not in the realm of Camus and Percival. And like I said, I believe Percival would be the logical choice for me. So that's who I'm going with.
And plus, Percival let Chris kind of put her hair down after, for like a moment, right? So he has that going, right? All right, so that's the cheeky star, Chimu star, ferocious star, Alan, Mikolatov, Boris, Harvey, and Rug. I mean, yeah, if I have Camus, I'll go with Mikolatov for me personally.
So that's why I'm actually going to go with Boris.
Yeah.
Is he'll team up with Percival quite well.
Yeah.
And Suikoden 4 fans, I'm going to shout you out here. If Hervey was alive, I'd pick him because, in my opinion, he's the one with the most character out of all of them.
Yeah,
he's a cool character.
Yeah.
Between Suikoden 4 and Suikoden Tactics, he really shows his personality. He's definitely the coolest of this one. But sorry, guys, he's dead.
Yeah.
So for me, Suikoden 3, Boris.
Yeah. Chibun star, Tesla, Jude, Twykin, Mickey, and Gund. E. I mean, it's not that strong here, but like, I'd go Twyken because Tesla and Jude doesn't do much. Gund there's an argument there being a dwarf, right?
And so is Twyken.
Yeah, Twyken too, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go with Twyken for me personally.
I'm gonna go with Gunny, as Log called him. Again, yeah, there's that. I love the dwarves in Suikoden 5. I thought they were really fun. And Gund is no exception to that. He's a cool character. So
yeah,
that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Chisei star, the guileless star. Is that what that
We should call it the lame star because all these characters suck.
There's Jabba, Labronte, Nadir, Nabokov, and Bastion.
Yeah. All of them are a pain in the ass to recruit.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm looking at this list and like, yeah, you had to do some steps. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Jabba, I hate you for making me search for the nameless urn for like 6 hours last time I streamed this game. So you're out. Screw you. LeBron, you waste my money because the only way to get you is to either win that rope game and get the Caledon urn, or go all the way to the Tauran Republic and buy one, which is like 50 grand. At that point in the game is a lot of money, so screw you. I hate you too. Nabokov, you're dead.
Yeah.
Bastion, you're actually worse, you asshole, because you are extreme RNG of what you're gonna say at what point in time. So screw you. Nadir, you're annoying too, but at least you can just show up with the same 5 characters and recruit them every time.
Yeah.
And he's got a cool mask. So Nadir. By default.
Yeah, I go with Nadir too. I actually really like the play mini game and just picking random characters and stuff like that. But yeah, the recruitment of everybody is like the pain in the ass star. I'm just remembering. I remember just more lucking out with Jabba and Labronte. I don't even remember how Nabokov's recruitment went by. Let me see. Yeah, I'll go with Nadir, for me personally. Let's see. Chikatsu. Chikatsu star. Lorelei, Duke, Frederica, and Lorelei.
For me,
hard decision.
For me, it's Suikoden 5's Lorelei.
Yeah.
Frederica, again, sorry, Suikoden 4 fans, she's dead.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reoccurring theme here, but she's dead. Duke is a fun character, but Lorelei has so much more surrounding her, the same way Killy does with the Sindar ruins.
Yeah.
And in Suikoden 1, we don't really see that with Lorelei. She's just kind of there. Suikoden 2, we see a glimpse of it with her talking with Killy. But in the 5th one, she is all about Sindar ruins, and we don't know why. There's a big mystery surrounding her and her background of who her people are. So I definitely want to see more of that. So Suikoden 5's Lorelei.
Yeah, I agree with that. And plus, she had a badass whip too. Like you get that Indiana Jones vibe from her. And then the other Lorelei's like a crossbow and like a pole axe. I was like, it's okay, that's okay. But yeah, the whip won it for me basically. But yeah, I do like Duke just having that giant sword and then just being that rival to Godot. But I'll go with Lorelei. The Chisu star, the folding star. You have Blackman, Tony, Bartz, Mao, and Goesh. Where are you going there?
Gauche for sure. The reason why is it's like he's just kind of got it by default by Mao being dead, Bart's being kind of meh. He just like has a shovel and is a farmer.
Yeah.
Tony again, farmer. Blackman again, farmer. Gauche is the only one that actually does anything in terms of military. So speaking of 5's, Gauche.
Gauche, yeah. And doesn't he have like a big ass bat club? Or was that somebody else?
I don't recall.
I feel like it was him that has like the big old bat club.
I think he might only be a war character only.
Oh, okay. I remember someone from their village have a big back club, and I feel like it was him.
It might actually be him. I don't recall. Okay. Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 1-5. Let's see. Chikyu, star, the strong star. Joshua, Gijimu, Bright, Bartholomew, and God, these names. Fualu. Thank you. Oh man, I like Joshua, but Bright's there too.
Well, Joshua's retired.
Joshua is retired.
What's her name? Took over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God, what's her name? I'm actually blanking on her name.
I won't know it by the time, by 5 seconds. Bright. I feel like I would go if I'm gonna pick Futch, which I
Milia.
probably will. Milia, that's right, Milia. Yeah. If I'm gonna pick Futch, which is probably down there, coming up, I want Bright to be there too.
Same, I'm going with Bright as well.
Yeah. Chian Star, Morgan, Rikimaru, Topo, Helmet, and Richard. So like this is like the deceptively strong from like 2 of them, but the others, they're there.
Yeah. Well, Topo, one of these things is not like the other. Yeah. What are you doing here? Yeah. It's Morgan. Morgan's backstory of being a gladiator back in the Queendom of Felena, but then him getting his eyes removed because he was too good of a fighter and he won too much. Yeah. And then being sold to the island nations, where then his boat crashes and then he's picked up by the monks in the Scarlet Moon Empire. Such a fantastic story. Goes through so much and is still an absolute badass. Yeah. Morgan Suikoden 1.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. That you cannot put a person over in wrestling terms more than Morgan. Just hearing the backstory of it, like, damn, you were too strong that they needed to even you out, and yet it didn't really work. You know? Yeah. There's an argument to be made with Richard only because he feels like he's sick, but he really is not. He's overpowered. Really strong, you know. But it's not like he's not like, if we're going by say story, he's not Morgan strong. I feel like you know, but he's really strong. He's just not like.
Game mechanics wise, he's very strong. Yeah. But story wise, Morgan is just overpowered.
Yeah. I definitely go with Morgan. Coming back. Let me see the Chizuku Star. Let's see. That is Mos, Gantetsu, Beecham, Pablo, and Waban. I felt like Gantetsu was like a mob priest, or what was it?
He was a really powerful priest. He was a strong priest.
Yeah. With like mob ties or something like that.
I don't know. I actually didn't spend a lot of time with him. Okay. I recruited him and always just never used him, to be honest. I spent a little bit of time on his character trying to find out who he was. There's not a lot on him.
Yeah. I guess I'd go with Gentetsu. He has a cool visual, if anything. Because I don't. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with whether his name's Beckham or Beecham. Whatever. Right. I'm gonna go with Beckham. I'm gonna go with him. And my kind of tie with it would be he goes along with Hugo to help him out as like a mentor kind of thing. Yeah. That would be my thing. Is he's been around, right? Like he was actually mentioned in Suikoden 2.
Yeah. I do remember that.
When Lucia's trying to escape. So he's kind of been around more than these other characters have. So I have a little bit more of a leaning towards him, and I think he'd have more of a role.
Yeah, leading up to like this quote unquote 6. Let's see. Chikai Star. Let's see. We have Esmeralda, I believe. Yeah, Esmeralda. Simone, Gao, Bang, and Lucerina. I mean, I'm just going visually, but I like how Gao looks.
Yeah, Gao's pretty cool. I mean, he's a Cobalt. Again, he brings that diversity. Yeah. And he's very strong. Yeah. Lucerina is a close second for me because of the fact that she does have such strong political ties in Suikoden 5, but in terms of an overall use, I feel like Gao would be more prevalent to be in a battlefield situation.
Yeah. Chisa star, the aiding star. We have Melody, Connell, Reed, Liloon, and then Rania.
Yeah. So all these characters suck.
Yeah.
And they're not very useful. Reed's really annoying.
Yeah.
Because all he does is complain. Speaking of 4 fans, I'm picking your mermaid, Liloon. You got one that's not a pity.
Yeah.
It's just by default.
Yeah. Connell has like Harmonia ties, but like it's just sounds. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll join with you with having a mermaid in the group. You know, with Liloon. Let's see. That's 4. And let's see, Chiyu, the helpful star. We have Chapman, Hans, Samus, Lillian, and Mosen. So not much of a strong cast here.
Again, they all suck.
Yeah.
Hans is annoying. Samus is annoying because he just like Reed, complains all day long.
So we get another mermaid.
I'm picking the mermaid. We're going Leland. Hey, Suikoden 4. I'm backing you up, man. You got another one.
There's a streak going. 4. There's a streak going there for mermaids.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. Up next. Let's see. Okay. The Chire star, the clever star, Lucan, Juan. They're all doctors, I believe. Mio, Yu, and Silva.
Yeah. So Dr. Lucan's definitely dead by now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dr. Yu is dead, and Dr. Silva is very much dead too, because she was already old in Suikoden 5. That a lot of years have gone by. We go down to Mio, who's the assistant to Tuda, and then we have the actual doctor, Dr. Han. So for me, Suikoden 2, Dr. Han.
Yeah, Dr. Han. Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. Chiju star, the Beast star, Fukin, Tuta, Carrie, and Murad.
All doctors again.
All doctors.
Well, except for Fukin.
Yeah, Fukin. Yeah, Fukin's a priest. I'm going with adult Tuta.
Same.
Yeah.
He's just the more logical choice, being that he's got more experience and he's got more character development than the rest of these characters. Murad, you were a pain in the ass to recruit. Constantly having me beg you after every battle to join me. When you finally do, you've already lost so many lives because you wanted to remain neutral. Screw you, dude.
Yeah.
For that, you sit this one out. Tuda, you're with me.
Yeah. I will argue that I like Tuta just throwing stones at enemies. And, a traveling like learning doctor, and he's like, oh, I got to defend myself. I'm gonna chuck stones at these enemies. You know, like there's a comedy there. So yeah, I'm going with adult Tuta. Let's see, Chibi, the least star. We have Kid Futch, we have Teen Futch, we have Adult Futch, we have Dario, and Gavaya. Where are we going here?
I think we all know we're picking Suikoden 3 Futch.
Yeah, you can't.
He's so freaking cool.
Yeah,
I so badly want to see adult Futch run into old man Flick and Victor.
Yeah,
I want to see it so bad. See that,
yeah, like, oh man, you guys are old. Like,
yeah.
Shut up, kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I loved when adult Futch was added. I was like, oh, thank goodness he doesn't have a spear anymore, because he has the badass. he has the badass Humphrey sword. Like, oh, that's super sick. And then you have Bright with it. Like, oh man, no.
Yeah,
Futch is
so cool.
Too cool. Yeah, he's too cool. You know. All right, so that's Chibi. Let's see. Chikyu, the intelligence star. We have Kasumi 1, Kasumi 2. I believe was it. The other one is what? Valeria? No. Tomo. Okay, that's right.
Right. If you pick,
right, one or the other.
Tomo will flip spots.
Yeah, flip spots. Okay. So let's see, Kasumi or Tomo, Lily, Millet, and Hazuki. Where are you going?
Kasumi, Suikoden 1. There's just so much more to Kasumi than these other characters. Hazuki's literally her whole thing is just chasing around Belkut. Lily, my God, she's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Kasumi in Suikoden 2 is an optional character, and she doesn't have a ton of story to her at that point. Suikoden 1, although does, she has a ton of story. Very useful character, very involved. Kasumi, Suikoden 1.
Yeah. I'll go with older Kasumi because a part of me like wanted to see more of that quote unquote romance between Tyr and Kasumi, or the fledgling romance, as I guess like Kasumi was kind of like approaching him, and you know Tyr is dealing with this thing, maybe oblivious to Kasumi's like feelings at that point, but like I wanted to see that unfold, and like
it's kind of there in Suikoden 1 as well.
Yeah.
You know when Kryn is accusing her of it. Yeah.
Oh, like,
so it's kind of there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'll go with Kasumi too. Chibaku, the Barbarous Star. We have Moss. We have Bido, right? Jefferson, Reinhold, and Maroon.
Weak set.
A little weak here. Go ahead.
For the diversity, I'm going with the Beaver. Let's go Maroon. Let's go with the rock and roll Beaver.
Yeah,
because he's funny looking. He is got the character with the most personality here. If we're being honest.
For sure.
Reinhold's dead. Badeau or Bodux or whatever you want to call him, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's literally just there to be like, here's some shining crystals.
Yeah.
Talk to animals.
Yeah.
Jefferson's like, I'm gonna make up title names that's supposed to somehow help you.
Yeah.
And Moss is like, let me hammer your weapon till like level 6, and then I'm useless.
Yeah, then he's not progressing after that. Like Badeau like is literally nothing without the animals, basically. Jefferson, like cool little side thing, but that's about it. Yeah, I agree with you. I'll go with Maroon too. Just being that rock and roll Beaver, you know, just having that look and having I'm fine with that. So that's Chibaku Star. That's an interesting little one. So Chizen, we have Crowley, we have Mazis, Sarah, Warlock, and Levy.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
Yeah.
So Sarah's dead, and so is Warlock. I'll make it be known here, speaking in 4 fans, if he was alive, I would pick Warlock, because that guy literally changed the Suikoden world. Right, he summoned that giant tree. He designed rune cannons and rune cannon ammunition. He changed the warfare and how, you know, just how battles were fought.
Yeah.
In the Suikoden world. He would be my pick, but he is dead, unfortunately. Levi, as much as, you know, he's probably got the most personality out of the 3 wizards that are available. I would say Crowley and Mazis have more of that allure to them, because there's that backstory of them fighting, and like there's that weird thing of them actually fighting before one of them is actually born. There's a weird time loop thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with the OG Crowley, just because he looks so much like Gandalf, and if anyone's going to have any type of story leading, like any underlying story out of these 5 characters leading towards Harmonia, I feel like it would be Crowley.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there, because I feel like even as old as he is right now,
he's been around for thousands of years, so
yeah, he has all those runes on him, and like he would definitely be fighting forever, because it's just being that badass master magician with Mazis just kind of like being right behind him, trying to like follow suit. Like Crowley is like just legendary, and I feel like he would be the if you can get him. I feel like if you could get Crowley, I feel like Crowley is like a hidden like fighting game character where you get like Shin Akuma. That would be Crowley. That's Crowley. Yeah, you know, if you can recruit like Shin Akuma, basically. Yeah, that's Crowley. Yeah, I'd go with Crowley. So that's Chizen Star. So that's 1. Okay. The Chiku Star, the Wild Star. We have Fuma, Mondo, Watari, Akagi, and Shigure.
For me, it's Watari.
Watari.
Watari has more of a story to them than Fuma, Mondo, and Akagi's dad. Shigure does have a story to him when it comes to the fact that he was originally part of an assassin group.
Yeah.
The right, like we know that whole story.
Yeah.
But Watari also is connected to one, and connected to one that's connected to Harmonia, and Highland.
That's true.
So I feel like there's more there with Watari, and his connection to Ayame.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my pick. Suikoden 3's Watari.
What do you mean? Watari is not Joey in a mask?
Oh my god.
I mean,
you have heard that one?
No,
you have heard that one?
No, I haven't. I feel like I made that up, but I guess
no.
That's
no, there's that one's there too. That one might actually have a little bit of substance, tiny bit of substance to it than the whole Julia thing. That would be cool. It actually would be cool if it was Watari. I doubt it, but I've talked about it before where I'm like, that's actually kind of possible, right? He does have this love for Highland and this history going on. So kind of, but when did Joey get white hair?
Yeah, right.
Especially flowing out of his hood like some emo. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, it has more to it than Julia being queen.
That's funny. Oh man, okay, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I do like Mondo. I like Mondo's like look and animation, but like Watari, there's a story there, and maybe an unresolved story too. So, yeah, we go with the Watari there. Let's see, the Chikyu star, the star of ambition. We have Moose. Sasuke, sorry, Ayame, Mizuki, and Sagiri. So
Sagiri is also a part of another gate, and that's all fine and dandy.
Yeah,
but
if you're having Watami, then you probably want Ayame.
Yeah, we're probably going with Ayame because she's chasing Watari down and all that stuff and has a connection to it. So she would also have that connection as well.
Yeah.
I don't really see Sasuke or Moose getting involved in this. Their stories just don't really, pull to me on that. Mizuki's dead. So yeah, I kind of feel like Sagiri is too wrapped up in her story in the south to be, of any consequence to the north. So yeah, for me, it's Suikoden 3 Ayame.
Yeah, I mean, all the argument for Moose at this point would just be like, oh, he would be Master Blacksmith at this point. But that's it. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, if you have Watari, then you would have to have Ayami to it and have that unfold. Let's see, the Chihi star, the flying star. That's 3. Chihi. You have Mies, Leona, Sebastian, Ormond, Marina, and that's it.
Well, I'm gonna go with Leona. She's the one that seems to have the most personality of them.
Yeah.
Sebastian is a little bit annoying, to be honest.
He is.
But we need someone to go to change our party.
Yeah.
And Leona seems to have the most personality out of them. So Suikoden 2, Leona.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll hit on you too.
Yeah. It's not at all creepy.
Yeah, not at all.
Hitting on a 15-year-old boy.
15-year-old
boy. Sure.
Yeah. 15-year-old leader.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chiso, the walking star, Sergey, Adelhai.
Did you pick Leona as well?
I did. I would. Yeah. I would.
Okay.
Let's see. Adlai, Shizu, Manu, and Babbage.
For me, it's easy. It's Babbage because he's the most intriguing out of all of them.
Okay.
He's got his own workshop and he's actually in cutscenes and you have little side missions to disable rotating bridges and stuff like that. There's actually more to him than these other characters.
Than just being an elevator.
Babbage.
Than just being an elevator, because he's an elevator guy too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he does the elevator, but he figures out how the elevator works in the Sindar ruins that is now your castle. But he also helps you shut down the rotating bridge.
Oh, okay.
He helps you during. There's actually a cutscene if you get him early enough, where he helps out in a cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got more to him than the other four.
Okay. Me personally, like I actually don't even I forgot. I mean, I only played Suikoden 5 once, but I would need to go back and relive that. For me personally, I would go with Shizu just because of the backstory of like, oh, there's two giant men pulling pulling an elevator and up and down and that thing going for the elevator roster here. Adolai has that little bit too, but like more Shizu than Adlai, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that I mean I go Shizu for me personally. The Cunning Star. It doesn't even mention what was it called too. It just says the Cunning Star. Kimberly, Raura, Hortz, the Seventh, Rain, and Haleth.
It's not a good cast here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Rora simply because she has a connection to Jean, and we want to know what that is.
Yeah.
Right. Like she has some sort of. There could be a story there. There could be nothing, but it's more than what I can say for the others. So
yeah.
Suikoden 2, Rora.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there because Hortz just gets lost.
Yeah.
I mean, Renee is dead, but like Renee has like a kind of the more annoying mini game out of everybody, like all the mini games, and then Kimberly was there to, I guess, smash Flick for one night or something. Yeah, I go to Aurora. The Chime Star, the Clear Star. You have Sheena 1, Sheena 2, Elaine, Amaria, and Nifsara.
Yeah, for me, it's Sheena Suikoden 2,
yeah,
hands down. Most useful character out of all of them, very OP, and also has a lot to do with the story, especially when it comes to his relation with Apple, and then also the relation with the Tauran Republic.
Yeah, I agree with you. But Elaine has that rivalry with Julia, right?
Oh my God! Of course.
I mean, Queen. I'm sorry, Queen.
Oh yes, because it's such an obvious thing. My God, I hate that so much.
Oh man. Amelia didn't have the Falcon rune too, right? It was just Gretchen. Amelia was just a swords woman, right?
Yeah, no. The only one that had the Falcon rune was Kika in that game.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I was thinking Gretchen for whatever reason. Okay, right. You're right. Okay. Yeah, I go with Sheena too because I just want to see Sheena hit on more girls, really, just and either succeed or fail. So, Shisen Star is the Forward Star, Kessler, Kinninson, Jacques, Nico, and Yair.
I'm actually gonna go with Yar on this one. He felt like he's the one that had the most personality when you went to meet him in the Island Nations there.
Okay.
You had a pretty cool backstory with the Lost Rune Cannon. I feel like just he's got more of that sense of justice and honor to him that would be like, call to war, and you could, it would allow for some sort of naval thing to happen to have a guy like him.
Okay. Remind me, was Yar like Island Nations? He was part of? Okay.
He was part of the Island Nations in Suikoden 5 when you went to go visit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember that a little bit. Yeah, that is interesting. It's the possibility of like a naval battle. I don't know. Jacques kind of intrigues me. Just being still mysterious in a lot of ways. Not being very talkative and just being there when the time is needed. Yeah, I think Jacques would would fill the spot for me. For Chisen Star. So that's 3. Let's see. Chitai, the retreating star. Marco, Shiro, Joker, Wendell, Nellis, and Nellis. Let's see.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Joker definitely has the best personality of them.
But some story.
Yeah, but I feel like he's getting old, man.
But he is getting old. Yeah.
But he is in Suikoden 3, which means he's there, right? He's there. He's present. He is alive. So I kind of feel like Joker's the guy to go with. I was gonna go with Nellis to like kind of pair, but no, I think Joker should be there, especially since I picked Godot. He's just got the better personality of these characters.
Yeah, I'd agree with Joker. I'd make the argument for Shiro, because actually I like Shiro more than Kinnison, for me personally.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know how you would if you would just have Shiro be a character by, the character itself or their pair, whatever you would do with that. Yeah, I'd say Joker because again, you have the Gaiden games with his like little bit of backstory there, and then then you go towards Suikoden 3, and then there's more of Joker, and then yeah, if that whole mercenary group is there, then yeah, Joker would be there. If I'm picking Jocks, then Joker would need to be there too. So, yeah, okay, that is Chitai. Okay, Chimen, the full star, Gen, Armada, Wanfu, Tove, and Maroon.
Not a strong cast.
Not a strong cast. No.
Not a strong cast, but I'd go with Amada because I feel like he's the one that had more of a story to him. I guess Maroon would too, but Maroon doesn't really.
Yeah.
They kind of fizzles out.
Yeah.
I feel like Amada would be more of a character to help you out, and be kind of a brash and like brave character that could go forward more. These characters don't have a lot to them. These ones are very bland characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Amada kind of by default by having a little bit more personality.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I have a little bit of an argument with Wanfu just because like he wants revenge. We don't know what that revenge is, but that was it. That's it.
Yeah.
With Amada is like, yeah, you fight him in a battle, one-on-one battle, and like he helps you out, and then like I feel like if called, he would like he would be there.
And he's an experienced sailor too.
Too, yeah, and that too. So yeah, okay, that's two. Chisui star, the fulfilled star. We have Hugo, Emilia, Ike, Phil, and Alhazard.
Yeah, so for me, it's Alhazard for sure because he's the only one with an actual storyline to him. Like he chases down like cursed texts and stuff like that,
right?
And he has a continued story in 5.
Okay.
So for me, it's him for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know these are the book's characters, but yeah, that out of everybody, that sounds like that. Yeah, I mean, Ieki. Yeah, there you have that element of like comedy, just being that creepy, having no vibe, no presence character. But that's about it. But like, yeah, Alzred sounds like more compelling type of character. So yeah, okay, that's 5. Chishu, the complete star, Hellion, Zamza, Leo, Eugene, and Bergen.
For me, it's right away. It's Leo.
Yeah.
More personality to him, better fighter, has fought Harmonia, has a reason to actually be there.
Yeah.
Leo, Suikoden 3.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, Hellion would be what was Hellion's who appointed her? Like, not master.
He's basically like, hey, here's a blinking mirror.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But didn't somebody like say like, oh, you're the appointed master magician now? Was it Crowley? No. Do you remember?
No, she doesn't have a lot to her. Like she's a very skip overable character. Like she's there with Vicky in the basement.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a lot to her.
Yeah.
Like there's very little there.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Chilin, the hidden star, Mina, Karen, Roland, Mitsuba, Makias. Let's see. 2 dancers, an elf archer, giant swordswoman, but probably dead, and then Makias.
So Miyakis is a queen's knight, and she does have a lot of personality to her, but I find her kind of annoying. I actually really like Roland because he's just so sarcastic.
Yeah.
And just rude as hell. I also like the elves thing.
Yeah.
Again, has a history with Harmonia, fights for Zexen. I'm going with Roland, Suikoden 3.
Yeah, I think I'll join with you there because if you're having Leo, you have Percival, you have Roland. You know.
That okay. So actually, remember what you're talking about with Hellion. It stated that like after the war, she succeeds Leknot as the seer
Like
and
not
moves to the
okay.
Magician's Island.
Okay, that's what it was. I was like,
So she's like
who
the one
graduated?
that looks at the stars.
Yeah, I was like, who graduated or who like appointed her as like
And then like Leknot moves on
mm-hmm.
to do other roles in the series.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of there to be the seer, right? Just
Yeah.
like to read the stars.
Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, Roland for 3. Okay. Chi, the peculiar star. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Amelia, Lowen, Sharon, and Lillian.
And Charmista.
Okay.
For me, it's Milia for sure.
Yeah.
Being now the new captain of the Dragon Knights.
Yeah.
She was, always more heroic than these other characters here. She would be, bringing dragons to battle to, you would need that Air Force, right?
Yeah.
So for me, Milia, Suikoden 1.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I would agree. I feel like there's personally for me a little bit argument like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to have Lo Wen be there just to be like just a sailor mouth on the army roster, and then Sharon would just be like a more grown up Sharon basically and fight really. But that's about it. But yeah, Amelia would probably be the strongest choice. Chiri Star, the Star of Justice. Actually, yeah, one. Let's see.
Weird group to have the Star of Justice.
Yeah, but Commodore, Teku, Nicholas, Natalie, and Zunda. Yeah, that is a weird roster.
They're, that's not a strong cast to pick from. I'm gonna go with Nicholas. Kind of just he's the one by default that you would most likely want to use.
Yeah, he had what shield and spear combination. He had going there.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He was strong. He was a part
strong.
of Duke's group.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go with Nicholas too, because Commodore. I mean, yeah, you can use him to fight, but like wasn't that strong. And Tenku, like, yeah, nothing there. I don't even remember Natalie and Zunda just being Zunda being an elf, right, or dwarf.
Dwarf. Yeah, just wanted you to show her a window.
Yeah. Nicholas would probably be the pick for me. Chisyun, the elegant star. Jupo, Gadget 2, now, and Sorensen.
We gotta have the return of Jupo, man. The trickster, the OG trickster. We gotta have him come back. I'm going Jupo, Suikoden 1. He's just become a legend as it goes on.
Trickster?
As you meet like his his niece and his descendants there, and he built Gadget and then also built Gadget Z or Z. We need the return of Jupo.
You know what? I actually thought you were like being sarcastic.
No,
but I personally would go with Gadget Z. Just it's a barrel like mecha. Like I'd go with that. Jupo, like I wish there was more to Jupo, like I guess fighting wise, because I guess that sticks out to me more than like his legendary tale of Jupo. Like knowing how he's like a legendary trickster. I just wish there was more in the battle part of it for him, rather than like just being like story wise. But for me personally, I'd go Gadget Z, just being like being a badass barrel mecha. So yeah, that's me. The Chiraku Star, the Star of Music. So this is all music characters. Cassios, Annalie, Nay. How do you pronounce that one? Etienne, and Cornello.
They all suck.
Yeah.
They all suck. So, I think I'm gonna go with Nay simply because, again, the diversity of the whole elf thing.
Sure.
Is the only one out of them that's half decent at fighting. Well, not even half decent. There's just 3 of them can't fight. And Cornello sucks.
Yeah.
What was that?
Nay is the fighter, yeah.
So Nay can at least, throw down when she needs to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with her.
Yeah.
weak cast on this one.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like I don't know. I vibe more with Annalie. I guess I don't know. She just she just has that sweet like she's pretty and has a lovely voice. Um, Nay.
Well, I'll never forgive her because when she was singing, we didn't hear her.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it was just
Oh,
that
right.
was missing from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
soundtrack.
There's no sound. There's no sound when she actually does sing. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd go with Annalie. But yeah, no. Nay also is like, I you couldn't go wrong with Nate either. Being a fighter too. So okay.
Here comes the hardest one of them all.
Yeah. Right. The Chitatsu star, Chatsu star, the quick star, Vicky, Vicky 3, Vicky 4, or Vicky 5.
Hey, Suikoden 4 fans, I'm throwing another bone. I'm going Vicky Suikoden 4. I actually believe this one's actually true, as I believe she's most useful in Suikoden 4 because that encounter right was god awful. So when you got Vicky, it was a godsend.
Oh yeah,
it was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And she gave you the blinking mirror right away. It was good to go, and she was a good fighter. Suikoden 4's Vicky.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, I went through all of the battles. Like I mean, when I played 4, I played 4 multiple times, and yeah, some runs I ran away or I tried not to get encountered. Other runs I fought all the encounters and like it was ridiculous. But yeah, when you had Vicky 4, like yeah, that saved you a lot of encounter rates. So yeah, I go with Vicky 4 too. The Chisoku star, the star of haste. You have Ruby, Koyu, Vicky, younger Vicky, Kate, and Zwig.
So this one was really tough for me. Well, Kate's dead.
Yeah.
But Ruby was pretty cool. But young Vicky had just like a very interesting character about her. But I'm actually not going to pick her for a reason that we'll discuss later. When we come to the end of this, I'm going to go with Zweig. Zweig has a lot of history with the Sindar ruins. He is a scholar when it comes to said things. He's actually a pretty decent fighter, and he is very involved in the story of Suikoden 5, and I could see him tagging along with Lorelei and Killy adventuring through these ruins. So I'm going to go with Zweig, and I'm going to cover young Vicky later.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Initially I was gonna pick younger Vicky just because to have the smarter Vicky there with the dumber Vicky. But you make a compelling argument there too, like with Zweig with Kylie and Lorelei just finding more about Sindar ruins and like what can transpire there. And then how 5 unfolded with a lot of like interaction with Sindar. I would go Zweig as well. So, okay, that's 5. Chin, the suppressing star. Vincent 1, Vincent 2, Augustine, Charlemagne, yeah, and Josephine. These are the snooty.
When it comes to these ones, the pretty boy kind of aristocrats.
Yeah.
So Charlemagne's dead. Josephine, not a lot to that story. Same with Augustine.
Yeah.
So kind of by default, we're going with Vincent Suikoden 1 here, as he had the most to do with the story than any of them. I could see him having some sort of connection to Suikoden, whether it be that's where he's from or sorry, not to Suikoden, to Harmonia. I could see him having some sort of connection there, whether he's got family there or whatever, something along those lines. I could see him being a part of that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say what if there was like some sort of connection, like he's involved with Harmonia somehow, whether he lives there and he just decided to travel around and that's why he's trying to be in good graces with Tyr and trying to get out of meals and all that stuff. There's something there that could be connected with Harmonia with Vincent. I agree with you. Vincent 1 was more interesting than Vincent 2. Vincent 2 is just like, is there another aristocrat? And then yeah, I'll just hang out with that person, and that's pretty much it. All right, so the Checky star, the halted star, we have Meg 1, Meg 2, Belle, Rita, and Lou. As you were going with Jupo, I like Meg more than Jupo.
I also like Meg. She's been chasing her uncle around trying to find her and trying to find him and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going with Meg Suikoden 2 on this one.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. The Chima star, the double star. You have Taggart, you have Muku Muku, Kuroku, Oleg, and Maroon.
For one reason and one reason only, we need Koroku to see who Jean is.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's Muku Muku. Come on, man. You love the flying squirrel. It's Muku Muku.
I do.
I'm kidding. Koroku's kind of useless. We're going speaking into Muku Muku.
Yeah, I do. I was like, I do like Kuroku, but but Muku Muku though. Muku Muku was there with you from the start. If you didn't miss, recruiting Muku Muku, and a pretty solid fighter at that too. I could see just flying into battle, in the last battle of Harmonia. I can see that going. The Chiyu star, this magic star. Giovanni. Why is Giovanni a magic star? That doesn't make any sense. Marlo.
None of them are magical.
Yeah, Marlo, Arthur, Peralt, and Taylor. Wasn't Taylor like the news person?
Yeah, okay. He was. He was like a reporter, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm actually going with Marlo because he intrigued me with his whole wanting to be brave thing. And I would love to see him grow up and actually become someone that is, because he always talked about how he reads books about these heroes, facing down incredible odds and evil and this and that. I want to see that happen with him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Suikoden 2 Marlo.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be like this famed author and his books on heroes is like the best. Yeah, I could definitely see that because everybody else is like, I'm a news person, and Giovanni's just like, I'm just gonna be serving LaPont, and that's it. And I'll join with you with Marlo, just being the all of a sudden this famous author now. When it comes to 6. So, okay, that's Chiyu. That's 2. And Chiyu again, the obscure star. We have Quincy, Richmond, Kid, Deborah, and Oboro.
So this is really close for me between Richmond and Oboro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kind of feel like we could get more out of Oboro, though, due to the fact that he has those ties to Nethergate, that he is actually quite famous, where it doesn't really feel like Richmond's that famous. It feels like he's just kind of like, he looks like a 1960s detective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of feel like we'd get more out of Oboro, and there would be I feel like there's more character when it comes to him. There's actual storylines that happen with Oboro. So I'm gonna go with Suikoden 5's Oboro.
Okay. As you're saying that, and the hint, more story there. I was getting more and more of that with Richmond. He looks like a rough and gruff detective, and nobody dresses like that in that area. I was like, but what if that's like a Harmonia style? Not like a well-known style, but like
it could be
an optional, you can actually wear this style too, because Kid is like, I'm just a fledgling detective, and I want to learn how people are. And Oboro, they have Oboro with the Nethergate stuff, and there could be more to that too. But I was getting that more. I was getting that vibe with Richmond too, as a possibility. I'll go with Richmond just to be different.
Okay.
Because I didn't like Quincy's like, I don't know if I'll join. I got to see who's winning. Like, screw that, man. don't just join the winning side. Like, just pick a side. Chifuku star, the hiding star. We have Apple, Agnes, and Laylee.
I'm going to go with Apple Suikoden 3.
Yeah.
I feel like she's very grown up at that point, knows at this point she's not, she kind of accepts that she's not going to be the main strategist, but she can always mentor and assist
support,
the main strategist, and can do it in a really, really good way in Suikoden 3 as she counsels as Caesar and kind of keeps him in the correct path. I'm gonna go with Apple being experienced in Suikoden 3.
Yeah, I like Apple 3. Just being like, oh yeah, I'll just share my experience, and I may not be the best, but like I'll be there to support. So I do like that. I do like Apple 3 in that sense. Let's see. Chihi, the Orphan Star. We have Kai, LC Chan, Kenji, Tristan, and Gino. Yeah, Gino. Let's see.
Well, there's only two really that are that interesting, and that's Kai and Chan.
Yeah.
Kai might be too old by this point.
Yeah.
So kind of by default, we're gonna go with Chan, especially having that link with Wakaba. There's just like that element of humor too. So definitely Chan.
Yeah. I mean, I really can't see Kenji joining the battlefield. Tristan was that character for 4, like, oh, I'm sick, but not really. I'm actually pretty healthy and strong. But yeah,
I mean, he's dead anyway.
But he would be dead, right? And then I mean, like, if you want a big ass turtle, sure, yeah, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, since I picked Wakaba, I would pick along Chan too as well. Okay, Chiku, the Empty Star, Lot, Millie, Mel, Noah, and Maroon.
It's got to be Mel because she's so crazy.
Yeah,
like she has that puppet that she talks with. Man, she's so crazy and so fun out of this group. For me, it's the obvious one is Mel.
Yeah,
3.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. That threw me off, like when recruiting her or talking to her, and all of a sudden she's just beating down on her own puppet, and then the puppet's just like, stop it! Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, it's so strange.
Like, it's so funny. Yeah, like, don't you? I was like, don't you get hurt? No, like, no. I'm beating up the puppet. It's not. I'm not getting hurt.
It's so odd. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. The Chico Star, Mace, Tasai, Peggy, Adrian, and then Dongo.
I'm actually gonna go again with Suikoden 5s here. Just the dwarf. They've got more connection when it comes to building weapons and stuff like that. And again, I feel like there's more personality when it comes to him. Mace would be dead. So would Adrian. Peggy's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
And Tasai does have that one storyline with the Star Dragon Sword, so you could pick him. Yeah. But I'm going to go with Dongo.
Dongo, yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with you there, too. Let's see. Chico. All right. Let's see. Chizen, the Finnish Star. O'Neill, sorry. Taki, Martha, Setsu, and Fuyo.
This one's pretty weak. But, Martha's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
I know. So, she's very... and she comes in handy in the story when she gets the bill of sale and stuff like that. And kind of foils the plan of the Zexan Council. So I'm going to go with Martha.
Yeah, okay. I know she would be dead, but I love Taki.
Yeah, she's definitely dead.
I love Taki. So I would love the fact that she would be still around and she would still just join this army and just be a good old grandma. Like that would be it for me. I know she would be dead. I know it.
Yeah.
But I would love the idea that she would still be around and would join this army against Harmonia. Like that would be amazing. So I would pick Taki for me. The Chisan Star, the Short Star, Kurumimi, Gengen, Wilder, Nakul, and Log.
You gotta go with Captain Gengen.
Yeah.
Like he's out of all of them, he's just the most fun.
Yeah.
Wilder does he is there for the story, but he does complain a lot.
Yeah.
And he's only there for a short period of the time of the story. Where Gengen's there with you throughout the beginning, and he's the loyal Gengen, man, loyal Captain Gengen.
Yeah.
Gotta go with him.
It's funny. I thought Kurumimi and Gengen were the same person.
Did you actually?
I did. I forgot about Kurumimi, the name, and I saw Gengen. I was like, oh, the character returned. But like, no, they're two different dogs. But like, yeah, they had the kind of the similar outfit. I was like, oh, that's why. Oh, I thought the person returned, but no. Yeah. But yeah, I would pick Gengen, just being that good old boy, really. Log would be funny just to be having like dad hijinks with the daughter, with Lun, you know. Um,
Hmm.
but that's about it. But yeah, I would go Gengen over Log. So that's the Chiton star. Chikaku, the corner star. Chikaku. Corner star Gon, Galbocha, Retz, Champo, and Lun. I mean,
I'm going with Rhett.
you going
The
Red?
reason why,
You like Red over
again,
Walder?
diversity with the Ducks.
Yeah.
He is actually quite powerful.
Mm,
He's fought against Harmonia before.
mm,
He's got more personality than most of them here. Lun probably has the most personality, but I feel like she'd be the odd one out here.
yeah. If Log
As
wasn't in it.
yeah, if Log's not there, and like, what reason does she really have to be in Harmonia?
Yeah.
I feel like it's Red for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I was like, at first I was like, if I'm picking Gengen, then I have to have Galbocha. Like, no, not really. Galbocha just is still like a little kid, but Ret, yeah,
Yeah,
like
he
you
doesn't
said,
do a lot.
Ret had fought Harmonia, you know, and yeah, survived basically. So yeah, I'd go with Ret too. Yeah, yeah. I don't see Champa. I mean, yeah, Champa would probably be dead, but yeah, yeah, I'll go with Ret. The Chishu, the prison star, we have Antonio, Yuzu, Lewis, Fungi, and Shu Min. Not that strong. You just pick your preference.
You're picking your cook.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Lewis because he has the connection to the Knights.
Yeah.
And by maybe it's a little time skip, so he's a little bigger, a little stronger.
Yeah, maybe an
but
actual
he's
knight.
still, but yeah, he's a knight that can cook.
Yeah.
So he's both your cook and part of your knight group.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna go with Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Again, history with Harmonia too.
I agree with that too. Yeah. Lewis. Chiso, Lester, Hayo, Mami, Piccola, and Retzo.
I mean, is there any other right question except Hayo?
Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like,
I mean, I'm surprised I actually didn't pick Antonio because I'm an Antonio main in Suikoden 1. You know,
yeah,
picking chefs for my fighting party. But yeah, for the next one, why would it not be Hayo? You know,
it's got to be.
Yeah.
Like, it has to.
Yeah.
I don't even think we need to explain it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's the only one with any personality or story to him.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed him.
For sure. Yeah, really quick. Retzo had a match with Hayo, right, in the minigame? Because I recognize the name.
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, really? I thought I saw Retzo.
Retzo's in Suikoden 5.
Right.
He might have, but I don't think so.
I feel like he did. But yeah, I thought I saw Retzo going up against Hayo in one of the minigame matches.
Well, maybe.
But that was it. That was pretty much it. Yeah. It would have to be Hayo. Like, I was so disappointed when they didn't have the cooking minigame back for 3. So yeah. Okay.
I was a little relieved.
Were you? Oh man, I love the combinations that you could do and all the judges and their styles and all that stuff. And that was the Hoarding Star. This is gonna be a pretty long episode. We're almost down to 3 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Shihei, the Smooth Star, Kirk, Khan, Ruby, Maxine, and Egbert.
I think it's pretty obvious we're going with Khan here.
Yeah.
He's the only one that has any actual storyline to him out of the ones available. I mean, Ruby's a bug. Maxine's dead. Egbert's crazy.
Yeah.
And Kirk just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a headsman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be Khan. He's the only one with any real story to him.
Yeah.
Suikoden 2, Khan.
Suikoden 2, yep. And who's to say there's no Harmonian vampires, right?
I guarantee there is.
Chisen, Rock, Barbara, Barbara, Muto, Basil, and Basil, Chuck. These are like basically the storage people.
We got to get the spicy Barbara back.
Yeah.
All right, she's got that attitude to her. We gotta love Barbara.
Yeah.
So Suikoden 2, Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Cheeto, Ledin, Sid, Landis, Igor, and Bakurin. Oh, that was
that's the giant snake. Yeah. I feel like Landis is the coolest one of them. None of them really have like predominant, character to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like I'm just gonna go with the coolest one for me, and that's Landis.
Really? Okay. Sid wins the scariness over Landis for me. Really. I mean,
That's
yeah.
fair. He is creepy.
Yeah, you pick one or the other. But like, yeah, and like Landis, like all of a sudden just appears in your party. That was weird, right? Like just showing up because you have an empty spot. Sid was like,
Yeah,
like almost like a killer if you wanted to, type of thing. So I would pick Sid myself. Let's see the or Chisatsu, Searching Star, Sylvina, Shin, Kathy, Lilin, and Kisara.
I'm sticking with my theme here. Lilin, Suikoden 4. She had more to do with the story than the rest of these characters.
Yeah.
The only one that can contend with that is Kisara.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvinia was like literally like one tiny section of the story, and same with Shin.
And that was it.
Shin didn't do a lot, and he wasn't even the best fighter. Like there was like when you looked at his stats and everything like that, and his rune, you're like, man, there's so many front guys that are so much better than him.
He was cool. He was
Shin
cool
for
looking.
Me, yeah, he just looked cool.
Yeah.
Right. Shin just looked cool. He didn't say a lot. He didn't do a lot for the story.
Yeah.
He was kind of bland. Kathy is she just has horses.
Yeah.
So the only one that contended with it was Kisara, but again, she kind of takes a back seat because of her husband
and family.
And her daughter, right?
Yeah.
Like Lun's got more to the story than she does. So I figure it's Lilin. She's got more to what's going on in Suikoden 4 than the rest of them to their games.
Dude, this is a mermaid-filled battle against Harmonia.
Yeah, they could really help.
Yeah. All right. Chiaku, the Fierce Star. We have Ronnie, Olan. Oh, this is a strong roster. Emily, Carl, and Nakia.
I gotta go with the overpowered Ulan. Like, my God, she's so strong.
Yeah.
Like when you get the right setup going for her, she's doing like 5,000 damage. She's she's got the bodyguard technique going on in the war battles. It stops you from having characters die. She's got a strong sense of justice, right? Like when she was going after those people that were, harming women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like she, out of this entire group, would be the one most likely to want to do something about Harmonia.
Yeah. I agree with that. Let's see. Yeah. Ronnie was solid. Emily, I like building Emily up with with the skills and runes and all that stuff. Carl was I loved Carl's visual, being like this.
He'd be dead.
he would be dead for sure. He'd be dead. I just love this visual though, just like this strong man with the mustache, but like he was like a karate black belt, and then I loved his unite where he just jumps in and just do like a punching kicking combination, and Nakia's pretty cool too, because I love my hand-to-hand fighters. But Olan probably just trumps everybody out, really.
Yeah. She's so powerful.
Yeah. Okay. So the Chisu Star, the Ugly Star. We have Gaspar, Shiloh, Billy, Gunter, and Linfa.
Well, we got to be able to cheat the game.
We need
Gaspar all the way.
We need war funding.
Shiloh sucked, man. Shiloh made the dice game crappy.
Yeah.
Right? Gaspar, give me that money. We need to fund the war effort.
Yeah,
Gaspar, Suikoden 1.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I have an affinity for Gaspar. Shiloh made balance the dice game. Like, don't balance it. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's just win money. And then Billy was just like a scumbag. Like, I felt bad for Melville. I was like, hey, your dad just left you.
just leaves him. What a great guy.
And then I forgot about Gunter and then Linfa. But Gaspar, I'm going with Gaspar, dude. Like there's no way I'm not picking Gaspar. Let's see. Chisu, the Mathematics Star. We have Window, Alex, Mike, Desmond, and Phelan. I mean, like you could pick whoever really. And
Alex for me because he has that connection to the Sindar.
That's true.
So I feel like he can be kind of connected to Killy, Lorelai, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with Alex.
Like offhand, like like what's going on here? But like I'm not gonna do anything because I don't want to worry Hilda. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I probably do that too. Go with Alex. The Chillin Star. That is Marie, Hilda, Luce, Luis, and Phelan. What would you go with there?
I'm gonna go with Hilda simply because she pairs with Alex.
Yeah.
There's more to the Sindar there.
Yeah.
So I think that you kind of have to pair this one. The reason why is, at this point, Mary might actually not even be around.
Yeah.
Luis definitely isn't. Phelan's a bandit. It's kind of you could make an argument for her, and yeah, you can make an argument for Luis too. But I'm gonna go with Hilda mostly to pair with Alex.
Yeah. You know what? Chisu. I forgot that Phelan has the giant fists.
Yeah.
As weapons, like okay, you won me over on that part, but still, Alex and Sindar is more compelling than the giant fist weapons. But yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Just have Hilda with Alex there too. Let's see. Cheiki, the Avenging Star. We have Zen, Bob, Sane, Kevin, and Tsubala.
Oh, it's Bob, because Bob's got that awesome werewolf transformation.
Yeah.
I love I like diversity. So having that werewolf going, especially when you had him go up against Necklord, werewolf versus vampire.
Yeah.
That's always fun. So I definitely go with Bob. I love his mechanic and who he is.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we feel like we need more story with that whole tribe too, or at least surviving members, if anything. Chisu Star, the Strong Star, Sarah, Ida, Anne, Pam, and Erda.
I gotta go with Erda. Again, diversity with the Elven thing. She has a strong connection with a previous star that we had there. Oh my god, what was his name? It's killing me.
Bado?
No, Isato.
Oh, Isato. Okay.
So she has a strong connection there.
Okay.
And I just find her more of a compelling character.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I'm vibing more with Anne, just because I'm just vibing more with Anne at this point. I go with Anne, me personally, just a personal choice. Chiretsu, the inferior star, Sensuke, Pico, Goro, Tasuke, and Maroon.
They're all pretty weak here.
I'd go with Goro. Just
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, Goro.
I'm in agreement. Goro.
Yeah. Chikin, the Mighty Star, Quan, Alberto, Piccolo, Nalio, and Kisato.
I feel like Piccolo's the strongest character here.
Yeah.
In terms of who he is and his connection to the story going forward, I have to go with Piccolo.
Yeah, same here. And he has unpredictability to him, so yeah, you can appreciate that. Let's see. The Chimo, the Rat Star. That's an unfortunate title.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
Yeah. Templeton. Rhodey. There goes the magician that was just doing mundane tasks. Haruto and Takamu.
I feel like we got to go with Templeton here. We need our map.
We need a map person.
And we have more of a connection to him in multiple storylines. Rhodey's there as a mage. That's kind of cool and all.
Yeah.
But where are we going to get our map? We got to go with Templeton.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Suikoden 2 Templeton.
Yeah, same here. And it's said that he's there's ties to Harmonia, right? With Templeton?
Not that I recall, but you could be right.
Maybe indirect, if anything.
I know he's just a map maker going around the world. I don't recall him actually having anything to do with Harmonia, but he could be.
He dresses the part, I feel like, for sure.
He definitely dresses the part. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have two more, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Chisoku. So that's the thieving star. Oh, that's interesting. Kryn, Hoy, Gualame, and Oscar and Roy.
For me, it's Roy. I thought Roy was a pretty interesting character, being a doubling for the prince, and he kind of feels that he needs to step up and fight for justice and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
discovers that later as a character.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed him. I hate Kryn. I will never pick Kryn.
Never.
I can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roy. Speaking of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Kryn, even if you buff him up, he's weak.
He sucks.
Yeah. Hoi, he's fun to use with Rio. Gualame was just weird. Yeah. Roy was like, whatever. Remember, like, oh, I thought he was just gonna be like, oh, yeah, just another imposter, but like there was more to Roy than like afterwards after you recruited him.
Right.
And, yeah, that story unfolded. So yeah, I go with Roy. So that's 5. Finally, the Chico star, the dog star. That's not another nice one either. The Chandler Gordon. There's 2 Gordons.
Yeah,
That's funny.
two different characters too.
Yeah, 2 Gordon 2 and Gordon 3, and then Chadley, and then Cyro.
Again, all pretty weak passing characters.
Yeah.
Just for the multi-use character, I'm gonna go with Gordon Suikoden 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you could pick any of them.
Yeah. I'll agree with you there. Like, I mean, you can have a merchant, or you can have a merchant, or you can have a trading post. Like, that's your call, really. Let me see. And yeah, we finished the roster finally. We're about running about like 3 hours, but that's unedited.
Yeah,
unedited.
But we
here.
still have to do.
But we still have to
do who would lead them.
Who would lead them, right?
Yeah.
And I believe. Okay, I'm just reminded that I think we've mentioned that even if whoever is leading, it actually doesn't have to be the assigned Tenkai star. I think we did mention.
Yeah, that's why I said I was gonna say Vicky.
Oh, you want Vicky to lead?
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, I'll save that for the show.
Okay. I mean, if I'm going by, yeah, like we mentioned it in the beginning too. Like if we're going by the roster only, and I'm looking at them, like yeah, I feel like Tyr would be the representative for the Tenkai star. But if it was just anybody, man, that gets more tough, because it's like, who has the strongest ties against Harmonia? And me personally, I don't know who that is. Do you have a more substantial answer? Like, who has the strongest ties towards Harmonia?
I suppose Thomas, kind of, but like that would be the only one. But he doesn't really like to fight.
Yeah.
I can tell you who would be the best one to lead this army on if we were picking one of the Tenkais.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the guy that's lived the longest and has the most experience, and that's Laszlo.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so I would go with Laszlo with that. It would be between Tyr and Laszlo.
Yeah.
Tyr because of here's the thing, they're the only two with the actual true rune.
Yeah.
Prince Frasiador released his rune, and his rune was actually a child rune. It wasn't even a true rune. Thomas never had one. Rio had half of a true rune. So Tyr and Laszlo are the only two with true runes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Laszlo has had 170 years, 180 years to perfect his.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think Laszlo's probably the best option.
Best representative.
So as for the other question that we were going to have of who would lead if it's not a Tenkai star. Remember when I said I would save this character for later? Wouldn't it be cool if young Vicky comes back through time, and corrals this group?
Get all the Vickies?
Corrals this group and maybe even snaps old Vicky out of it.
Oh, okay.
Right? Restores her memories and everything like that. And young Vicky leads this charge against Harmonia. Wouldn't that just be a fun story?
That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think that would be very fun. But if we are picking a Tenkai star, I'm probably going to lean towards Laszlo. I think he's the most experienced.
Yeah, I'm looking at everybody and I'm like, I really don't know. I'm just looking through everybody and it's like, nobody's like really vibing with me. If there was a shared star space, it would maybe be Victor and Flick, but there's no like strong ties to Harmonia. But because they lead battles in armies and all that stuff, maybe if they are a shared star, Victor and Flick, I would feel, you know. But like whoever has a strong tie, I don't know that answer right now. Because we just went through a bunch of characters. I'm like trying to remember all storylines and any ties of anything that they did in the game, and it's a lot. It's a lot. This podcast is gonna be a long one. But yeah, for me personally, I would pick Tyr. You know, just the fact that he would step up. You know, but Laszlo is a strong argument there too. But yeah, for me, if it was a different star, I'd go with the configuration that they're both a shared star of that spot, and it would be Flick and Victor to lead the group, you know.
So in our amount of stars picked, I must have miscounted here because they don't add up to 108; they added up to 104. So I missed a few here when I was counting here. But from what I have written down, I have 14 characters from Suikoden 1, 28 from Suikoden 2. A whopping 33 from Suikoden 3,
Ooh.
6 from Suikoden 4, which is kind of interesting that we got that many, and 23 from Suikoden 5.
Oh man, I am not even gonna try to count like how many I have, but I'm grazing through my list, and I'm seeing 2 is definitely overpowering this entire list, and maybe 3. 2 and 3 are like in the forefront. Yeah, 4 not so much. Some ones, yeah. 2 and 3 are the strong contenders for this like returning roster for me. But yeah, that's this is gonna be a long one. But yeah, that's gonna be the episode of Stars of Destiny podcast. Guys. If you were to put any sort of comments, let us know what your roster picks would be. I would love to see and hear why you'd pick so-and-so over so-and-so and why they would be the best representative star. I would love to see those comments. I would love to read them and just go back and forth and not debate, but like just want to hear like your reasoning about why you would pick one or the other. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out and listening or watching this episode. I really don't know how long this is gonna be. It's gonna be a long edit to take cut out anything that that wasn't flowing properly and correctly. So yeah, it's gonna be taking a little bit of time just to cut and put it out there. But I'll do my best to put it out there as fast as possible. We have to discuss what the next episode will be. So. We don't know what it's going to be yet, and we'll try to be back. I'm trying to think of like my schedule, but we'll try to be back next week, if not the week after. After some time passes. So, yeah, that's it for me, and that's it for Luca. Luca, where can they find you? For anything, Twitch, content creation, whatever. Where can they find you?
At this point, yeah, you can just find me on Twitch. I'm actually kind of moving away from social media pretty much altogether, with the exception of Discord and Twitch. So find me on Twitch, playing Resident Evil 4 Remake right now. So if you're into that kind of stuff, jump on in and let's have some fun.
Awesome. Did you play Classic 4 before getting into 4 Remake?
I played it like back when it came out.
Okay, so you know it in and out basically.
Playing the original now is quite difficult with those tank controls.
Okay.
The new one is definitely superior.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. I bought everything in the spring Steam sale, including a Steam Deck, and I got all the remakes of Resident Evils and all that stuff. So like, if I were to go through it, if I were to go through like a marathon, I'd probably do that before I jump into 4. Because I actually never played 4, not even Classic or now Remake. So I would be interested to see like my take of how Classic 4 feels versus what present 4 would feel like. So yeah, maybe something to do down the line. So yeah, for me, you can see here at Star Destiny Pod for the Twitter, and Marco Polo 177 for my personal Twitter. You can find me at Nerd in the Bay on YouTube. The Stars of Destiny podcast is the is the specific podcast is in my YouTube channel, because there's a podcast section now. So like I put the Stars of Destiny podcast there. So yeah, if you want to watch the whole entire video, you can find it there at Nerd in the Bay on YouTube. But yeah, that's pretty much it for us here at the Stars of Destiny podcast. We will try to be back as fast as possible as soon as we put this episode out, and then we figure out what we're going to talk about next. But until then, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next time for the Stars of Destiny podcast. All right, take care, guys. Peace.
See you later.